Sheriff deputies.
Oh, I talked to the sheriff about it.
Okay.
I talked to the sheriff about it. Yeah, it sounds like, it's a new thing, can't do it.
Okay. I don't know why this still won't come on. I have one that, I came in at 6:30 so that I could get them turned on.
Well, and that ain't coming from me.
That
It's
one's
coming
on.
from the Sheriff's Association.
There
Some
we go.
attorneys for the
Silly
sheriff's
little thing.
association Saying if you train them, they work somewhere else and with the rest of the authority.
Okay.
And if they're telling that, I can't recommend them doing it.
Right. We have nothing to do.
We'll talk to the sheriff for just a
Okay.
little bit.
Right. And they're providing uniform and.
So we'll call meeting over.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have deputies that have been working for the city. The city provides a car, a uniform, or a payment. And they're saying because we're training, we're still liable. So. They
got that.
Kind of in the body rack at the moment, because a couple guys are gonna be coming.
And they put it in writing on top of it for Ed, so we're screwed.
Okay.
They put it in the attorney for the Sheriff's Association.
Oh,
Okay. Well, it was put to me that you did have several, so. I figured you was a bad guy.
No,
I would find out.
How you doing this morning? Pat's had a chance to look at it.
this is changing the one.
Number of hours, double.
Okay.
And then there's on line number 3, there's verbiage. I think there's 2 sentences at the end. That changed as well.
On number 3 out there.
And number 9,
Okay.
basically it's saying that we will monthly, a liaison will meet with the city clerk. And we will provide monthly reports, which we're doing already. That's the only 2 changes. Well, in the amount of money.
What is this for?
Contract for Melbourne for law enforcement.
So Pat, you already looked at this, right? Everything's good?
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
You've already got it here, but this is just.
Yeah, it's exactly the same agreement.
If I can have copies of it.
I can make you a copy real quick.
I can make a copy. I'm sure there's not much in it that's different, but if I'm voting on it, I ask that I can have this sometime to look over it.
Well, that gets signed by February 1st. That's what it implements.
What were the numbers you said are different?
The amount of money doubled because the hours doubled. Basically, what we did was the original one that was signed had the ability, well, but it said in, you could double it to 20, which is exactly what we did. So other than that, they wanted me to add in the liaison meeting once a month, which I was good with, and they wanted us to add in the monthly reports, which I'm good with. Not a big deal to me.
You want to talk to him about the other areas it's talking about?
I would just like, I mean, if you guys want to vote on it, yeah. Vote on it.
So,
Right.
I can't vote because I haven't read it. If you want to pass it, you can, but I would prefer if I get an opportunity to read it. I don't think it's
read that.
fair to
We'll talk
not
about
read
this
things
other
that has
time.
to be voted on.
Do you have a copy of the bill you had a question about?
Can you make a copy of that?
Adam, you read that agreement?
Yes,
Is there anything different on that agreement than the last one?
just the minor language
I'm
about
gonna have Melinda write it
consultant
upstairs.
and the number of hours.
Yes, or two, just in case.
Sorry, I should have brought copies. I didn't think about it.
Well, if
For
there's something
future
for
reference, you have meetings like that a few days in advance, send me a copy.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to hold stuff up because we're going over something that's already been done, and we're just adding extra days.
I don't mind doing that. I apologize. I sent it to him just because I thought he would have to approve it, obviously. And then I know I believe their attorney looked at it as well.
What's that now?
Did Melvin's attorney look at it? Do you know?
Yeah, that's my wife.
That's why I was asking.
I mean, the language really hasn't changed.
Right, nothing changed except for that last sentence on 9. Otherwise, it's exactly the same contract with more money.
So some questions got brought up to Fred.
Birmingham about the deputies working for the city of Birmingham.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Burlingame has not come to me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, apparently you have a deputy that was working part-time or whatever,
Okay,
and the city was providing the car and uniform and everything.
okay,
for him.
okay.
And apparently now the sheriff's association says that you can't do that, you're liable.
Absolutely. Here's our policy if you want to see it. Bertie told me that something might be brought up.
Okay, well,
But no, I have not heard from Burlingame PD at all.
okay, well, he called
He
me.
probably should have called me.
Well, I understand that.
I'm just making the point. He probably should have.
Right.
So what is the law?
The policy, KSA says that we should not allow deputies that work full-time for the county work in any law enforcement capacity in any other department. That's a liability for Osage County Sheriff's Office and and there is verbiage, if you look at.
Because of training.
Well, it's actually listed right here. It's on the first page. I don't know what that says, but that is what when he was talking about it. That's what he brought it up.
Federal law.
So it's called covenant law. That's why he said that do not under any circumstances.
So the way you would get around that is maybe consider doing getting someone contract with the sheriff's department.
But they already have a chief, so if they want to do that. Or or the chief of police could come and talk to me and we can, if he's got an emergency situation, maybe we can work it out.
Well, that was coming up, he's got something coming up pretty close.
Again, I don't know why he went to you and he didn't come to me. This is an ongoing issue with him. He's also doing several things that are probably not appropriate.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking
Nah,
about. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I just lost the first sheet of this. You got it, you want to keep
Yeah,
it?
That's our policy though.
okay.
Okay.
You want that? Or-
I got plenty of copies of it. And if he was to come talk to me about it, then maybe we could talk about a certain
Well, he told me
circumstance.
he's gonna come this morning, right? I said he was, so I don't know. That
Okay.
was-
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
think
it was
that's,
so late, so.
It's weird. I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay.
I mean, it seems to me that we ought to talk to the
Yes, I
sheriff
understand.
first. and
So we
not-
got
not
that.
here.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know who that is.
I don't know how he got his information. So,
again, I haven't talked to him, so I don't know where he's coming from or what he's saying.
okay. We'll see that.
So does this agreement go back to this was dated July 21?
This is the new date. Does that say July? I will be back in a little bit. I apologize. I must have grabbed the wrong one.
Do they have the whole thing on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will bring you a copy of the new one. I
But it is
apologize.
that thing just-
I grabbed it in a hurry, so I will be right back. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And you do not have to know the contract, is that correct? You didn't make a motion on that while I was running around.
No, he's
He
gonna
read the
let's check.
rules.
I have some small stuff if you want.
Yeah.
I have a resignation, and I can write up the blue sheet.
So we have a resignation coming in, it looks like. Effective January 31st, Clark Thompson will be resigning as maintenance supervisor. So I make a motion to accept his resignation effective January 31st.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries.
You just sign it again.
I'm sorry for all that, that's it, I'll just sign.
Okay, now what I need here is the letter that you guys probably all want to see. And then this goes back quite a ways. This was a emergency vehicle permit for the gentleman that does not live in our county, but is on fire district, that goes into our county and responds to, and the sheriff has approved it.
And then,
Yes.
so we have a letter from the Osage County Conservation District, Osage County Conservation District Board of Supervisors personally invite you to their 80th annual meeting, Monday, January 24th, at the Osage City Elementary School in Osage City. Supper will be served at 6 p.m. complimentary drinks. Awards will be presented, one supervisor will be elected, and the district will report on the 2021 activities. Reservations are required, and we made by call Lori at 828-3458. 6 p.m. the next Monday.
Which, what was?
And that's in the elementary school.
Are you guys?
I should be, so we need to do that too.
Well, it's Lyon County big, so I don't know whether,
Oh, yeah,
or something.
Yeah, I got 2 other meetings.
I'll call Lori. and get it.
So I will- Yeah,
Well, at least that one was.
yeah. Depending on what.
It's kind of a short drive for me,
Yeah.
which is probably good, I need short drives. And then we have an approval for, I'll make a motion to approve the red light, what do you call these again?
Emergency vehicle permits.
Emergency vehicle permit. It's kind of, we call them red lights thing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
For Mark Shoemaker. Was that the only one?
Yes.
For Mark Shoemaker.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
And there's 2 sheets for each commissioner to sign.
There are 2 of them.
Yep.
What's that?
That's all I have right now.
Pat, you got anything?
No.
Mr. Shoggon, do you have any public comments since you are here?
Just killing time.
I am not on the agenda, and I may have already missed this. I'm from the jail, and I received a resignation from one of the employees down there.
So I'll make a motion, we approve, is this effective? Okay, so, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of William Weldon, effective January 28, 2022 from the jail.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
Thank you, sir.
If you could laptop on
you sign this check?
I did.
Do I keep any part of this?
Let me say, you just have a second here, there you are.
You can have all the time you want.
Let me see that just for a second. That's
You go,
fine.
Vicki, thank you.
Sorry. Here's the proof.
Just to prove it that way, I guess it doesn't matter then, right? You guys got about 10 minutes more than I'll quit these guys.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion, we go into executive session with Pat, the county counselor, from, let's say, 8:48, and we'll go for 10 minutes, so 8:58. To discuss a matter of confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, trusts, and individual proprietorships under the core exemption.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Grab this one. Into the freezer.
Okay, okay. Can you believe this weather?
Crazy.
It's supposed to be mid-50s.
It's not, it's the high 23 or something.
How people catch colds.
Is it COVID, is it cold?
How isn't that the way to look at things now?
You can't even see these for very cool things.
Yep. God, would you ever dream you would be in this position? And it's not going away. I don't know if you're a shot personally or booster shot. You can have gallons on the soil. Other than that, I don't know. I knew for Christmas and New Year's it was gonna camp out.
Yeah.
But not to these levels. Where you grow up
Here,
and then where did you graduate?
86.
I'm 82. One person I moved out here was Kevin Wood. He was the same thing. Born and raised here. Richard Maiden.
Rock.
Hmm.
My dad grew around all of that.
You're on that accident.
Huh?
You're on that accident.
Terrible.
Cities do everything.
All of that, that's where you can do a lot of money.
But I know they said, I thought they said it was almost a city bus.
And that could be, I just keep throw that on that. The last time you were right here and all, we're not in that, I don't know that, you know.
I know that crossing. A friend of mine lives there, Chris Reno. Yeah, Chris.
Sure, what they should be, well, about 7 minutes. And then for the minutes, DJ Mark, this resignation, is she a sergeant? Is that what they call her for the minutes?
She actually is attached to corporate.
Okay. I'll just put J Mark. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing much period.
Okay, all right, I just, want to have it right.
Well, my support for that jail.
I think pretty good. We want to do it. This looks good. I think it's pretty positive.
This is voted in February.
Yeah, February 8th. We said it may file out tomorrow.
Oh, gosh, it's quick.
Doesn't seem, it's like,
Where's the proposed site?
Where the current sheriff's office is, that's the reason they actually bought that back in 2006.
So we'll tear all that down.
Yeah, it'd be the last thing. Basically, we'll do the little front of it, and then the very end, I've been able to tell you, the rest of the month, we can watch that. And it'll be pretty
And I think I was talking to Dave, it'll be self-supporting, right?
well. Yes, well, actually, the generator, I think, for the county, which would be good for all our taxes. So that has the potential of easily generating more than $1 million a year, as long as the office operational costs, which is why we put that out. A little bit bigger channel, they run it, and then
What's the cons? Why would anybody vote against
it's something to do with the biggest thing I
it?
hear.
Yeah.
It truly is the biggest thing I hear is, well, you just want something to do with it, and nothing to do with that. It's the fact that the biggest liabilities are out here, literally falling apart. So,
and then a lot of people understand the reason for the tax for the 4 years. I had someone call me and tell me this weekend, a friend around the phone about something else, and I try not to answer questions about it because I shouldn't answer questions, but, so usually I tell people, if you read the question, the actual question, but I'm at home, so how can I answer that? So I just said, if you read the question, the taxes are over here. You can't then pay restaurant or anything without the money to first build it before it can start making money. So I think that's what people to, yeah, and like I said, I try real hard not to, I'm not supposed to have an opinion one or the other, so I try real hard not to talk about it to anyone, but I usually explain to people when I read the question to them real slow, but I have a question she was really getting to the point, so like I said, it's like, people that are starting to have the money to build that restaurant, and have to work with them, make money, but it can't be money, you build it, you got to be building.
To me, that's not an opinion, that's just fact.
well, I mean, the sales tax is probably the biggest complaint that we have, and it's a half-cent sales tax for 4 years instead of a half-cent sales tax for 3 years. I mean, we have two solutions, either have a revenue base or we have a tax base. There's not no alternative. So, I mean,
So
something
it takes money to make money, right?
That's,
And this county is not wrong at all. It's
there's
not.
those who don't want to go through it, and that's one of the biggest opposition.
Isn't it?
Against that. I mean, that's probably the biggest opposition we're getting, and we don't really have. That much of it is that we just want something new. If we need something, we need something. We need to generate jobs, we need to generate revenue.
It's like I went to Cardinal City Council, I won't go on the place. And I said, I'm here, this is September, maybe November, cold. I said, I'm here to propose that we amend the non-public voting said, I get you don't want those motorized skiing. But what about people in kayaks? You require them to carry a fishing pole. They got fishing. I said, no one's fishing. You kayak, they closed the lake one day for Wounded Warriors kayaking day. I said, we need to bring more people into this county. We need to show why we have lakes that. I said, let's amend the rule that says you can pleasure boat if it's non-motorized.
Right. Which makes sense.
Right. Kayakers don't hurt anything. People aren't fishing anyway, they're just carrying a fishing pole. So, but the article came out. Local resident wants to remove
1 minute.
two. It was written down. No, that's not a bad idea. A little on the way. Starting to walk. Speed up and down as fast as they want to. We used to have a 5 on that. Then they changed it to, okay, now you can go as fast as you used to in flush road. Because it will work road, that was no more. But about a kayak. I mean, we live like that.
Plus it's exercise.
Right.
So the benefits of far outweigh the.
Wow, you know, somebody drowned. Somebody can drown on a fishing boat too.
If you were, let's make that, but it was like that.
Right, right. So, sometimes people don't have to do this for themselves. I know I want to try to think, oh, it's best for. Oh,
I do literally the all the time, you just want to keep it like,
you're not shy, you don't want this, you want that. Well, it's going to make it.
and the eliminate liability. I think right now, there's something that is more drugs, it's less responsibility, it's less hassle. But it is very.
Time.
To actually take taxes, whereas we do it this way, it is a part of each other, right? But it actually pays worse on, and there is.
Where's the downside? Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
I've said that before.
Well, it's necessary.
Well, I know, but that doesn't mean you'll get the,
Right, we're back in open session with no action to be taken from the executive session. Would you accept something?
Well, excuse me.
I'm gonna take a quick recess.
okay.
I apologize, that is the new one, the one I gave you before, was not the new one.
Just, if you can, like, email me whatever you need me to look over, and just give me the date and say, I'll be presenting it on such and such date. And then that gives me time to, at home, because I work on stuff throughout the weekend, and I can prepare for a particular meeting. And that way I can read it, because he is not, he gets irritated with it. But
Okay,
I don't feel like I should sign something that I'm not ready with.
okay.
I told Jay I had a rod that's heavy. It's heavy. Oh, my God. There you go. Why?
Pat, can I see you for a minute?
Hello. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 660. Okay. Okay. Okay, I know, so what is it? Jackie should be home, so you could just have her. Oh, okay. 845-8157 is your cell. 845-8157. But I think that they called her the other day, so I think she already had her number. But double check with her, but yeah, she should be home, so just go by and get it checked. Bye.
Well, good morning, Becky.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm gonna live.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Sound like you're surprised or something.
Well, you know, last week I was kind of wondering. So, Pam was supposed to come in today and they've asked to be postponed again until mid-February, so I don't. But
I can tell you what's going on there. We've been talking to the boys, and I met with them last Wednesday,
okay,
and I think we've got agreements that we're going to come in
okay.
with their help, and I think we're just going to finalize that and then do all this piece.
Okay. Which,
That includes Larkins.
that what?
That includes Larkins.
Okay. Which brings another thing up. I have 2 applications on my desk for a temporary asphalt plant from Bettis. Procedure for that usually is it just goes through the Public Safety Committee and they approve it or list their concerns, and then you guys sign off on it. That's it. Doesn't go to the planning board or anything like that. I didn't know if you wanted to change that process, kind of in midstream right now though, but,
I would say you do whatever you've done in the past.
As long as it's temporary, so
it's temporary, but it's a long temporary.
well,
It
right,
starts in March and it runs throughout the rest of the year.
right.
And there's,
What is your concern that we maybe should look at a different process, or what are
Well-
you asking?
there's not gonna be road maintenance on it.
So you're saying that maybe you should go through planning and, or what?
I'm just saying I have 2 applications on my desk.
I think.
I'm
there
asking
is
for
some
your-
agreements that goes through the state on that, goes through state programs.
Yes, they are.
So there should be something on there, I don't know, we might have to have them come down
Have,
mid-states, because they want to put one at their location.
there's one at their location and the other one at Harshman's, yes.
Because I vaguely recall that under, when they're hauling asphalt, they're under different agreement, and that comes from the state, where it's a state property.
Okay.
That's why I'm remembering that vaguely now.
See, I didn't know any of the agreements that you guys had talked about. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you before I bring the actual permit up to you.
And he brought that up, whether they were separate, I said, I believe those were separate. So that in the original CP, so it's figuring out how the exact wording to all that is, I know it's controlled by the state, and it's a state property. They pay so much a ton, and it depends on whether it's on gravel or whether it's on asphalt.
So just bring in the permits to you as usual then.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be here too.
And when he does, I have him bring down what the state does, because he'll,
Okay.
him and I will talk, so.
Okay, okay. All righty.
I mean, it's kind of the state tells you what they're doing.
I just
They
didn't
run
want to
the
bring
process.
permits into you and then we had to bounce back and time delay since we're having a meeting next Tuesday, so.
Yeah, you want to see one of those beforehand.
The state part, I think I've read over that somewhere.
The state one is another stuff, but do you want to have the CDP and stuff before we bring before everybody else is on house?
Yeah, like you could cover what that is and then
So you can email it to her since she want to have it. I guess.
For Bettis, but now what about Harshman's? Because this is totally different. I've never had a temporary asphalt on somebody else's.
Who applies for that temporary bill since the storm?
I have signatures for both.
Okay. So there are some questions I had, and I don't have the answers to those yet, but the other part is the road agreements that comes from the state.
Okay, okay. Like I said, the application is from Bettis, but Harshman did sign off on it, giving their permission that they, are allowing this to happen, so. Okay, so I will bring that up next week, put it on the agenda.
And is Rich coming then next week?
I will make sure that he's here, yeah. And then also next week, I will have a new contract for Keena. Lyon County is upping their fees. So from 23 to 42. I think it's 32 to 42. I think I said 23, but I think it's 42.
For what services?
Sanitarian, going out doing all the inspections.
Is that a permit or is that?
No, this is her fees. This is the fees we pay
Right.
Keena, yeah, her salary for doing
We pay
inspections.
to her, we pay to Lyon County.
I'm sorry?
We pay it to Lyon County.
We pay it to Lyon County, yeah,
Right.
we don't pay it to her, but it's for her fees and her
Right.
salary's gone up, so we just have to make sure that it's covered. So, but it's covered through inspection fees and all that, so we're not losing anything, so. So, anyway, just wanted you to know about that, and that'll be on the agenda next week too. All righty, thank you.
Mr. Wells, are you waiting on us?
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be, just come back some other time for that, or if you want to. Whatever you'll do. Just try my turn to have them by at least before February 30th.
How many need signed, just one or two or three or
I
what?
think it's the chairman. It's on the back page, I think it's chairman and Robin
Right.
and Pat.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they want to be signed.
So this goes into effect on February 1st.
February, yes. I apologize, I brought that wrong one. I grabbed it. There was two on my desk and I grabbed the wrong one.
So I will make a motion to approve the law enforcement contract between the sheriff's department and the city of Melbourne for a period of 1 year from the first day of February 2022, which is going to be in lieu of the previous agreement, is that correct?
Yes.
So it'll go away unless it be the new one.
Yes.
So it won't be, because the other one started in July, so it's been over June. This is going to extend everything now
Yes.
to February.
Also,
So,
more hours and more pay.
okay. So you second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, I think I got a second too.
Yeah.
I'll just send you the sign, you know. The G is, this one, I don't have the original.
They set me on the Thank you. If you have, you just come back in. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of Vivian Stanley at a rate of $11.75 into the motor vehicle treasury department.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Effective date is 1/18/22. Matt, can you talk about that openly, or we can do that there?
I can't even read that for you.
This is not a position.
Well, I mean, it's
I'll make a motion for an executive session under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant to non-elected personnel matter. Exception to discuss personal matters related to non-elected personnel to protect the rights and privacy of individuals involved for a period of 15 minutes. I'll say from 9:10 to 9:25 to the meeting will resume in this one.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay.
Always talking about that. Yeah. Chance I'm not going to answer a couple of questions. Chance I'm not to ask you a couple of
I'm so sorry about your
Well, I know. So, when they come to executive, I'm going to educate myself, when they go to executive session, and they say so much time, but they need more time.
They can come out and make a motion to stay.
They come out and make another motion to move on.
Yes.
Another question is, whenever you review the meeting minutes of the previous meeting, and there's corrections to it, how do they reapprove the corrections, or is that looked at again?
They It's usually 20 what corrections are, and then I give them their own copy of the correction.
Okay. Because on our township board, when corrections are made, we were discussing last week about how we look at the name.
If there's a lot of them, I usually like, there's a name on right away, so you can see the video, it's like, and just give them a correct copy of it.
Gotcha. So they can see that you have, they don't have to read those.
Yeah, they just say with correction.
Because we were discussing, in the township is different, a little bit different. Because you guys get excluded in a sense, so you make these corrections. Because you don't make it to the wrong. How do you know you made the correction?
I would think that they're just being their copy of it now. Especially if it's like a comma or a date or,
Yeah.
something like, sometimes I'll put the word in there like, I'll come back and use that one and just start in the wrong place. Or whatever, just something like that. Or,
Yeah, some symbols.
right, if it's something like that, then, like I said, I just, next week, I just give them their copy of what was correct, so they have it.
What we see sometimes in township meetings. What do you do? This wasn't in there, this wasn't in there, this wasn't in there. So there's more than just
Right,
symbol.
and like this, words go on the way.
Yeah. It got you to do this right away. You know, just on board, not wrong, in my opinion, you should come back to the next meeting with the correction that you maybe just read what was added.
Right. And I can see like something like that. If there was something like that, and like I said, I can run upstairs and bring it right back down to them.
Do you type all your notes on your laptop?
I type rough minutes with my down here and then go upstairs and fix them.
Because to me, sometimes
It's way too, like, yeah. And I kind of cut my little short thing that I use, and I go upstairs and finish that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like I can hand it to them and they do their not finished. And like when we do bills, like today we did bills, I'll just put the name through the bills, and when I go upstairs, I'll put the next stuff and the numbers in, so that like the older words in a neat little format. So, a lot of things I've had to do on my hands.
Where do you keep the records? Is there an electronic version as well as a paper form? Or is it all-
Actually, like electronic version, I have to keep for reading. Well, I do, but previously they haven't kept for, it's just the paper.
Paper.
Yeah. I keep them on my computer because somebody would call and say, can you send me whatever? And it's so much easier just to send them the.
And electronics are so nice. Like, for example, we can't read that here. My DJ, he has a camera control of the phone. At right at the room deposit, you just pull up the app and deposit. Start, and you're not walking back and forth. It's pretty nice. He lets me borrow it for meetings and stuff like that, so. It's, I can use it there, stuff like that. I can just sit there on a certain, that's all the show video. One thing, the acoustics in here, I was talking to Heather, I got somebody bidding to fix the acoustics. Because it's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear it in the room.
I'm sure, like,
I don't know if it's James, because I think it's the under voice.
he doesn't, what's the word?
I think it's a project.
He doesn't project. And I think that's what you got to speak loud.
Yeah. I was hearing, my mom said it was closed.
I thought maybe it was just getting older because I can't.
Well, I'm getting older too, but.
That's a good thing. How long have you been doing this?
I've been working for 21, maybe 22 years in the line, but I've been in the office for 30 years.
And retirement, and then we can anytime soon.
Someday, I'm sure.
As we get older, like, friend of mine retired recently, he's like, you know, one thing I think, God, I want to buy this, and then I want to buy this, and I'm home all day, and I'm like, when you retire, there's things you want to do, is now you're around home all the time, and guys especially, I want to do skid steer, I want this.
My husband is 20 years older than I am, well, 19 years with me, so,
Ballpark.
Walmart, he, has retired, but he doesn't, he just takes the development out, and developing this. My dad was on, my dad had to get out.
I'm leaving for cautionary.
Okay, all right.
This one, okay. So Fred's on this one. Yeah, so Fred has to sign this one, and you'll sign that one. I had your girls already sign.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
And then it's just you on this one. It might just be Fred.
Okay.
I don't know why, and he has been still on, but you know what, I'm not gonna question it, even though he'll accept it. And then, so we had to update this agreement that we had, you know, who can sign, how many
Oh, right.
signatures are required, whatever. I think on the last one, you signed this, and then Gaylord, or whoever signed this, whatever, I think the last time we had. Yeah, they didn't even update it from last year, so we need to get this updated. So as soon as, well, I guess just have Jay sign here and you sign here. I went ahead and put the letters in. We're the only two that can actually make any major changes to the account, and then this is everybody that's allowed to sign. The authority to sign. That's I will.
Sure, you have a computer, and
Run it out.
how long will we? Oh, here's your copy of this.
Did they sign it?
Yes.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you do something that goes back up to Twilight?
Sure.
It's just our house.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to get to.
Okay,
Thank you.
and that was the only change?
Yep.
One minute. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you doing?
Good. Did you get all the snow plowed and all that fun stuff? You know, the sun came out and melted away.
Yeah, we were, I think we did 14 hours Saturday, 14 or 15 hours, right around there, so. We were hard after it, so.
It's crazy weather, it's like, it's just crazy that it got so warm for a couple days.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is supposed to be so cold all over again.
But at least no snow.
And clunky.
Time.
Okay, no action taken from the executive session, we're back in open session. Mr. Fine, come on up.
Glenn just came in. So,
Either person, either way, I don't care who was first.
Come on up real quick, please. Glenn, we'll probably wait on you. So here, I'll just tell them why I asked you to come.
Okay.
The state has issued some new guidance, or is issuing new guidance on a bunch of stuff with COVID. And to make it clear, I asked Kate if she would just come and share with us exactly what it is, because there's some stuff that we're gonna end. We're gonna end contact tracing, is that correct? Contact
Yes,
tracing?
so the school, the KDHE is ending contact tracing altogether. They will no longer do it, and they have also put out a release stating that schools can also put a hold on their contact tracing. A majority of the counties in the state of Kansas do send their school-age children to cases to KDHE to be contact traced, to be called, to be given letters, anything like that. So KDHE has put a temporary pause. They've said that schools can also temporarily pause contact tracing for them as well. As a county, I have chosen to also adopt the changes of stopping the contact tracing. It's not something that we were 100% doing anyways. It kind of depends on, if someone wants to give their contacts, if they don't give contacts. If they do, then that's great, but they don't always give a phone number, so we can't always contact them, which is fine. It's not a mandatory thing. It's optional. So we have decided to go ahead and make it official that we will no longer be doing contact tracing at all, effective today. So, yep, effective today. With that, we will not know if somebody needs a work note unless they tell us. If they tell us that they need a work note, we can send it through email like we typically do. It's just a return to work letter stating their in-home isolation ends this day. They can return to work on this day with a mask for the remainder of those extra 5 days. We'll still call everyone that comes through the system stating that they're positive. We will still call them, notify them of their positive status, let them know their isolation guidelines, and answer any questions that they have. And other than that, we just advise if anyone feels ill, just stay home, stay hydrated, and wash your hands. So I know on Saturday, there was not a place in the county to be COVID tested. So as of right now, I have not had time this morning to follow up on that.
And that's with
But I will.
test.
Yes, yeah. I do know, I know I saw on Saturday, even Walgreens pharmacies were having to close down, the pharmacies. Yeah.
But supposedly this week is when the ordering online
Yes,
to order tests, but I don't see that happening. I don't see it working. It is, but they made the announcement and then said it was supposed to start like 2 days later. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way.
It's supposed to start tomorrow. I will monitor that, and if the website does work, I will post that link.
Do that.
So that
Once it's up and running, it'd be great. if
Yes.
you could order tests online and just have them at home. And
Yes.
then people can test immediately and start getting treatment.
And I do know that insurance companies are also covering up to 8 COVID tests, I believe. I think it's 2 per person, so if you have like
Well,
a,
that's what it's supposed to be, but I read
Yes.
an article that the insurance company said it's gonna take them a little while to get that policy in place to where it's actually gonna work.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lag where people are gonna have to.
save their receipts and file a claim.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna be smooth, but hopefully when it gets up and running, that will be good.
Yes, absolutely. So that's all I have for that. I do also have a request for the health officer stipend for January.
Are these me?
Yeah, you guys can keep those.
Do you
Is
want?
this done?
Some have chose to do it monthly. I think maybe Ann did it monthly. I think Jackie did it annually. I can do annually if that works best, for you guys.
I guess it's, wrong
I have
time.
to remind them this.
It makes no difference to us. How they do it.
So how would you rather do it?
I think monthly is gonna help me remember to do it.
So my question is, can I make a motion that we just pay this?
Yes, and
month
then we will
not
just
do this
automatically
every
do
month?
it.
Okay.
Have to do something every month.
Okay, good, because
So
I
I'll
don't
make a
remember.
motion that we pay the monthly stipend of 208 to the health officer for the year, for the year 2022.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say no.
Thank you.
That take care of that problem?
All right. And then do you guys want a copy of this? This is just what I typed up saying that we will adopt those KDHE guidelines. All right, and that is all I
I
have
have no copy of
of this,
that.
of that. No, I have one on my computer. I saved it.
You said something, what they call something that's coming out. In,
And endemic is what they're referring to, all of these moving towards the endemic, which is ending the whole pandemic. So hopefully we see some light to that a little bit more. So, all right, thank you. You too.
Are you gonna post this on your page or your?
Yes, I can, yeah. I'll post it today. Thank you.
I want us to find Mr. Hudson. Red and green. Red and green. Depends what color shirt he wants to wear. He's got green on, he's got blue on. Yeah, decide what you want.
Well, first of all, I've got termination papers for Cecil Parker.
So I will make a motion that we approve the termination of Cecil Parker effective 1/12/22.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Guess we can send that to everybody.
Snowstorm on Saturday. I guess we got everything handled okay, kind of hurry scurry. We had,
I seen somebody post on Facebook, they didn't like the truck that much.
Well, I see somebody put a very nice post that they said you can tell where the Osage County, Shawnee County line was. I think they were on the old highway north of Carbondale.
that's
And
good.
it was clear, it was clear as could be, and then you could see.
Shawnee County
and then it
was
would just snow out.
not. That's good.
Well, they were saying thank you, they were saying thank you to the Osage County.
Yeah, we had to swap trucks mid-shift because mine threw that fault code that it just got out of the,
What is
Shop
that,
with it.
10 miles an hour?
it'll go into the,
It's like a safety mode, isn't it?
yeah, safety mode. It has, I still got 100 and some miles before it'll go into it, but we went in and parked it and swapped out to the other plow truck to try to keep going, so we keep being productive
So
instead
they
of.
just said a lot of them.
Well, and it just been back from getting fixed for that dosing unit on that thing. And so Glenn got me some of the background on the truck and stuff, so they want to look at it again. I want to go up there and make sure they're not trying to tell us they're changing the same thing.
Is this the gas, is this the gas or diesel?
We, Ryan and I think that there's a wiring issue because it was running fine until the first snowstorm, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was over by Fostoria and hit some slush,
Once we
and
get,
that's when it gave that code. It was like,
once we get it wet, well, this morning, the code is actually went off and it's kind of had some time to dry out, so to speak.
It's got a whole lot.
it seems like it's wire, and they use that real thin wiring now on those things, so if it's got any kind of brittle crack or something in there, it could be letting a little bit of moisture come in.
And it don't
Because,
take much.
no, it doesn't take much, And I went through a pretty good sized drift down north of Overbrook this time, and that's when it,
So is it
Gave
running
that
fine
warning.
now, or is it still in?
no, it's running fine.
So it's not.
It's just acting like nothing's wrong.
Well, if you have what, 100 miles left or something?
Yeah, I should have probably about 130 miles before we're going to the debrief mode, where it does actually slow it down. It gives you a warning, like a window, before it's gonna shut down in that mode. And it's just so you can get it to a repair facility.
Should we take the Briggs or?
Briggs this time.
That's
Yeah,
one
Briggs.
done the original and kind of why we're kind of working with them, but,
What year is that truck?
A 50, only 108, which isn't
Oh, diesel's just.
not very much for, especially those Dodge diesels you can usually get 3 to 5 out of.
that kind of gets us back on something else. You might still want to think about with this time frame on trucks, and I'm not talking pickups here, I'm talking big trucks. With a 2-year time frame on acquiring a new, I got some mileage on some of our trucks that we've got, and yeah, you might think that a diesel truck should get more than that, but a dump truck just doesn't seem like it does, especially a sander dump truck. We've got a couple of trucks that's around the 230,000 range. We do have a truck that we're having a lot of DEF issues with. It's and Fred knows on it. It's the one that's piggybacked off the state contract.
Right.
It's got 200,000, well, 192, almost 193,000. The two newest trucks that we've got are 143,000, and then one of them is the other one that did not really have a driver too much because we was waiting on that sensor. It's at 99,000. But I don't know. I mean, Ryan may want to keep talking or hounding you about it, but with a 2-year time frame on getting an order on one, why?
That's if we order new ones, is that how we always order new ones or how?
Typically, yeah, we did acquire a couple of used ones when the one dealership was over here at Lebo in Coffee County, but they were not. One of them was a sand truck that came out of Shawnee County, so it's kind of been on its second birth, I guess, so to speak. The other one was just strictly a dump truck and had a riprap barrel bed on it. It's not even a sand truck, but.
How long does the state keep their trucks?
I'm saying 17, about 5 years. I think, wasn't that one that,
Probably around 5 to.
And then what do they do with those ones?
they put them on Purple Wave, a lot
How
of
many miles a year around those?
around the 200.
Okay. So they're not like the patrol cars, they get around 50,000 miles. That's not less.
Yeah,
I'd sell them used with more mileage.
I'd say they're around the 200.
And where we noticed where we were running into our bigger problems with the DEF issues at Franklin County was we're hitting in that. We didn't really have any problems up to the 100,000 mile mark. That's new truck, new units, and we're pretty good to there. But once we got around the 150 to the 200 range, we started seeing more of those sensor issues pop up and stuff. And that's why they kind of went with that computer system that can give them more control with that software.
Is that what we're doing now too?
Sean's been working with a guy kind of and seeing what would control our trucks better.
Yeah, we really don't have anything for you on that, but I guess just
So
heads
go ahead
up.
and tell me that, is how many
Yeah.
of these trucks are we using?
This one Mack truck that we've got, that's got the 230,000 on it, that truck is really showing lots of deterioration with rust and just kind of seeing its better days.
No, I'm thinking how much to replace.
To replace them,
How much is a new dump truck?
The last time we did it, they pushed it about 190 to 225.
that's why,
That's the full unit, that's
Right.
new spreader. That was Dunan prices. We went out of Wichita is usually where we get ours at. And those were Peterbilt's. I can't quite remember the motor that they had in them.
So how many different places where they would have dump trucks in that case?
Well, you got
Four different ones.
the
MHC.
MHC, you got Emporia, Wichita or Emporia Kenworth. You've got International, which is now Rush. It's changed name to
Yeah,
Gibb.
we don't have international. What are you talking about?
And, typically Kenworth, that's the three, Kenworth, Peterbilt, and the International.
So what's the preference or what do we see that we think would get the best work there?
Well, I don't know.
The Peaks and the Kenworth run the same motor. They run that
Pack car.
Packard motor. And if we kept on something like that, that would be less different software that would need to be utilized for troubleshooting if we go that route.
Oh, there is another Western Star,
Right.
but that's kind of getting into another league there, really. Mac, of course, still got that. Problem with Mac is there's so much of the work needs done on that, it's just dealer specific. I mean, you are going to take it to a Mac dealer regardless. So you're not going to be able to, a lot of it you can't work on, period.
Yeah.
Just don't. They
That's
don't
not a
have
very
it.
good option to save
Yeah.
money more than we can do in-house.
So what you just said, what are you talking about? You're wanting to replace how many?
We ought to replace two at some point. Yep. Just because of of those two that are exceeded the 200,000. Yeah.
Are we out of payments on all of it?
No, we are, see, we got one more payment in February on, we don't have too much payments left. I can't think of it right off. I thought that there was one more payment on them. Oh, no, we have those paid off. That's on the Ron's truck and, and something else. I think it was
Tobacco maybe still has one. I don't know if it was, but I'm understanding something that had payments still on.
there is one more on Ron's for sure, and I'd have to find the other one. I think they're,
You know what page the budget would be on? Okay.
So it shows a Caterpillar grader.
yeah,
That's June 22 or nothing. There's an 02 and an 04 dump truck. We have payments.
oh yeah, that's those two that, the the 02 is the one that has 200 and.
So there's still payments on them.
So we have our dump trucks all paid off then, except for the two used ones there.
And the Caterpillar backhoe, is this the last payment on it?
Now that is a landfill.
Okay. And the bush hog mowers, I know we just paid them off.
Yes,
And the F-550 truck.
yeah, that'd be Ron's. That'd be Ron's. So that's not dump truck.
So is that the last payment then on the two older dump trucks?
I have to go upstairs and look.
Yeah, I'd have to, I think
Well, I guess it
so,
doesn't hurt
should
to
be.
See how much it's gonna be if we put it out to bid and find out what we're at. If they're 2 years down the road, you gotta start planning a little bit for the future.
That's what I'm thinking, it's just to get it in the future of it, because they all the dealers are saying the same thing.
But
A
it's,
lot of them have crunched down that bid window of how long the bids are good. That's
Right.
what we noticed over
Yeah.
there, that they extend the time of when you can get the equipment,
Yeah,
but they make the bid time and be like, okay, you're
We're only
extending,
gonna
you
guarantee
gotta
it.
give us both, don't you? Can you extend the
and I would
time?
do them on the ones that we have and stuff, so, because the maintenance is gonna be cheaper if we do that. So we'll talk Kenworth or Peterbilt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how many companies can we get bids on from those?
Well, Kenworth too, for sure, I don't,
MHC can bid both.
both,
Yeah.
okay.
And,
There's no state contracts to piggyback off of Peterbilt for either one of those brands.
I don't know what they've gone with this year on theirs. I think they're back with Freightliner, I believe. Well, he would be involved in it. Yeah, Jeff would be.
So
We can find out. That's easily find out on that, but because they switched, they was in the International for a while, and I thought they went back to the Freightliner,
did they?
I think. But anyhow,
It's gonna take 2 years to get them, we're gonna need a truck probably in 2 years. So.
well, it's gonna take a lot of repairs until then.
Okay.
Pat, do we have anything on the landfill?
Have not heard a word out.
Okay. Okay,
You wanna shake their tree again? See if something falls out.
I can try to get a hold of him and get him. He's kind of one of them that's kind of hard to get an answer from, is Pat. Yeah. That's Pat, I say.
He wouldn't have to be an attorney by chance.
He was going to speak to his attorney and then maybe explain why it's taking a while. I hate to throw the profession under the bus, but.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, do we need to talk on the landfill rates, or is that still pending?
I think we're gonna have that entire conversation next week. We're gonna try to vote this week, right? So I would say we put that on the agenda for next Monday.
We may want to wait till this is done before
Yeah.
implementing that.
We'll talk about the rate that we're making, we're gonna talk about until we find out what we're gonna do.
Okay,
Unless you can find out, if we find out by next Monday, then we can handle it.
okay. Well, I just wondered, how I guess the operation and everything was gonna be handled and everything is what I'm kind of getting at is,
That part will handle next month.
and sure Ryan was kind of wanting to know too, so we know how to.
Yeah, I had some concerns of when we do split out the people, or,
Well, that was what.
yeah, there's a lot, or if we have to send Sean over, maintenance, and then if we have something break down and he's over there, it's,
We just need some more bodies, what we need.
Well, I think what has to be decided first, on what I was listening to today, is with the one employee, does it stand over the rate or does it not?
Or does it float?
So that's, you guys have to decide that.
Well, like I say, we need more bodies. I mean, he could go either way, but the way it is right now, we're just trying to keep everything moving and still not accomplishing anything.
So the most vital spot for him right now is probably in the bridge.
yeah, where we have a blade guy.
Like like
So I
Saturday.
don't know the answer to that, that's something that you guys are gonna figure out, because either one of you are gonna have to train somebody.
Yeah, like Saturday, we basically covered a lot of the gravel roads with trucks.
I'm wondering if it's something on a temporary basis, that kind of continue to float until whichever department determines they're gonna hire somebody new and then get out and train. So maybe that we have to kind of stair step our way there, but eventually, I think that employee will be in one department and just stay there, but
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a little bit of a transition. I'm gonna go visit with Jeff this week and just get a feel for his wish list, I guess, is what I'm gonna kind of ask him, just see what he has to say and start with that and determine.
Where we go.
He came in this one too, talked to him, and said, we'll, the split of how that happens, we'll do that next week, the other stuff, we'll have to finalize it.
Okay.
Employee stuff and all that, we'll figure it out.
I just need a little better understanding of what his department is going to be. And so I'm gonna go over immediately and just, if he can just kind of lay out to me what he's thinking, I don't have a full understanding since it's gonna be separated out. And I just need to go visit him, so I'm gonna do that this week.
Well, take like just Dave, for example, Recycle has 2 of their 3 employees that are gone, so we basically, Road and Bridge has sent some of our people up to cover just to keep that operation open.
But that'll be the stuff that's gonna not be fun, because you
Right.
can't plan on all that regardless.
Right.
Right. And
So there's always gonna have to be a sure there regardless. So,
yeah, that's gonna have to be somehow, but whether Road and Bridge is compensated for it or whether it's a goodwill thing, whatever. Fred, we have the Lake Region meeting
Right,
Thursday.
right.
Okay. I guess on Shay's announcement then, we probably won't have a replacement at this time. Is that correct then?
Probably.
On her agenda, she had
Right.
my replacement. So I guess we'll probably just have to tell them it'll still be open. I guess.
Right.
But,
they're running out of way.
yeah, yeah. Well, they won't have another meeting until afterwards because
Yeah.
they only have like, pardon?
Thursday.
No,
February 28th is your official last day, is that correct?
February 28th.
So probably, don't hold me to this exact date. The 25th, that Friday, is that
Okay.
what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Is we'll close everything in the county at probably 3:30 and have a deal at the senior center at 4 o'clock
Okay,
on the 25th of February.
okay,
So if you want that, everybody, I know what we think we're doing, and we'll do it at the senior center, so it'll be a lot bigger building.
okay.
We'll have to make sure they don't have anything that day.
Yeah.
That day work for them.
I'm putting it on there, that's sub-state basketball, so I'm running, but I will make my best effort.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think that covers everything.
Go argue with truck people.
Repair shops. Thank you, guys.
See if somebody wants to give us a couple bids and see what they look like.
It'll take a while. A truck is very hard to spec out, very hard. Yeah, and that's time consuming in itself, just to
It'll be
get-
interesting just to see what the numbers are.
Oh,
Okay,
anything?
Have you taken a field trip? Because this is the quietest I've ever seen you in my life.
Observant. I was looking at trucks,
You know,
looking at dump trucks,
Oh,
buying used
There's some decent prices,
Oh, yeah.
very low mileage. Now, I don't know what Fred has against internationals, but
Their reputations went downhill a lot in the last few years.
yeah, I've seen some nice trucks online that were, one that has like 1,500 miles, is like 131,000.
I have no idea if they look at on that, so I'll get knowledge on it as we get the inspection.
Yeah.
And you know, buying new is never a good thing.
If it's like it is in new cars right now, you're kidding.
It's high.
It's insane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the electrical issues with new vehicles is just, that's not a dump truck.
The roads were pretty good on Saturday. I was out on them. We were hunting. They did a good job.
Are you great?
Yes, sir.
Come on up.
Thank you.
We're running just a few minutes ahead, but not enough that we're gonna worry about.
Thank you for allowing me time today.
For those of us who don't know, I guess you can tell us who you are.
Sure. My name is Greg Watkins. I'm with Watco Benefit Group out of Kansas City. Our company does employee benefit consulting. Been doing benefits for a long time, right out of school. I've got a card I can leave you all here. Primarily, our mission is, Ron, I'll give you one too, is healthcare plan consulting. And, you know, just kind of in the interest of time, I'll just kind of maybe give you a little bit of background. So I'm self-employed. I've got 6 people that work with me. I've been self-employed for about 20 years. I've been in the benefit business right out of school, first job, about 35 years. We work with quite a few counties around the state of Kansas. We also work very closely with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas in a consulting fashion. And what I mean by that is about 8 years ago, we bought a book of business in Topeka. And as a result of that, we have about 25 clients in and around Topeka that are with Blue Cross. So what happens in the state of Kansas is Blue Cross typically works direct with employers. But when you work direct with an employer, Blue Cross, you're dealing with an employee. I would say 8 out of every 10 counties that we call on in the state of Kansas is with Blue Cross. They do a really, really good job, but there are some things that we can pick up and look at where we can add enough value for our customers to get hired. And what I mean by that is just controlling your healthcare spend, looking at alternatives, looking at wellness, looking at some things that Blue Cross does that in the absence of having a third party that they probably wouldn't give you, they wouldn't provide you. Heather and I met at the KAC convention, and we just got to talking about some things, and so I'm kind of aware to a degree of what you all have right now. I don't know exactly why you landed with the state plan, but typically, you know, I kind of understand why most counties would. And there's a lot of pros with that, and there's some cons with that. And that's pretty much what we do, is we help counties, companies, clients evaluate the pros and cons of your current situation compared to what's available in the marketplace. And typically, if there's some ways that we can save you money and improve the benefits, save your taxpayers dollars as a result of some of the changes that we would make, then that's where there's room for us to engage and, you know, kind of help you all out. I've got some information, but that I'll share with you, but what I always like to do is just kind of talk and just kind of, you know, I'm more about your needs than I am my needs. So what I've seen with most of the county plans is I would describe it as you've got Blue Cross and you've got Aetna and you've got a rate level, and the rate level that you buy into might be competitive relative to what you could get on your own, or it might not be. And really, it's kind of the way I would describe it is for those groups that can't get a better deal on their own, it's kind of, that's the way most companies would go. And what I mean by that is, you know, we benchmark all of our clients' data and we say the average company in the state of Kansas is paying X amount per employee and X amount per family, and they have this plan designed. The thing with the state plan is you're going to pay a little bit more. You're going to pay a little bit more than the average. And the reason is because the risk that they attract is higher than average. I mean, the companies that and the clients that go with that plan are the ones that can't get a better deal on their own, right? So that's the disadvantage. And then the other thing I think that's a disadvantage is there's a lot of mandates with it. And what I mean by that is they say that you have to pay a certain percentage of the employee rate and you have to pay a certain percentage of the family rate. So what happens in that scenario is, you know, you're relieving some of your normal capabilities by conforming to their guidelines. So what I mean by that is if you wanted to pay 25% of the family instead of 65% of the family cost, if you were on your own, you could. And if you wanted to have an opportunity of having a $1,200 rate instead of a $2,000 rate for family, if you were on your own, you potentially could. So that's really kind of what it comes down to. And we can help you evaluate, we can help you, look at your administrative protocol within the office. We've got an HR portal that a lot of our clients engage with. We've got technology that allows the employees to self-serve where they can, if they want to, they can get online and they can see all their benefits. We've got a lot of things that we can do to improve on process within the office that you probably don't have with the state plan. And so that's pretty much, kind of high level where, the types of services that we can provide. But before I get into maybe some details, do you all have any questions, or is there anything that I just outlined that you say, oh, I'm not sure I understand that, or that you'd like me to elaborate on, or is there anything on your agenda that comes to mind that's important to you all?
Well, I just remember when we visited that you would say sometimes you're the go-between sometimes with the entity and the cross or
Right.
their company, and you sometimes can get quotes and benefits sometimes better than what if we're directly trying to do that.
Well, yeah, so what happens is if you go out and you're on your own, it's a complicated business and it's pretty heavy to try to do on your own. So what we do is we take those responsibilities over knowing the marketplace. When I say knowing the marketplace, Blue Cross is just one option. Now I will tell you that, it's a pretty prevalent option. So we would go to Blue Cross on your behalf and we would negotiate aggressively on an independent basis outside of the state. Now, some clients that we have, there's always Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, Cigna, and there's some independents. So we can always go that way as well. And, you know, I mean, there's pros and cons. Whenever we go to market, I mean, it's always good to get a quote from United Healthcare because they're really aggressive right now. And I can use that quote against Blue Cross Blue Shield to provide a more competitive option for your group. The other way that a lot of our clients are going right now is, and I'm just gonna regress a little bit because I think it's important to do so. What happens is whenever I bring up self-funded, sometimes to counties or to any other group, it's not just your industry. They say, no, there's no way I'm gonna go to a self-funded plan because I had a bad experience. Is there any experience with the county here that would indicate that, or have you all been self-funded in the past?
No.
From my perspective, you have on the nerve there that in our policy book, it says one thing, but we do something quite different. So when you talk about self-funding, I think we're self-funding now. Maybe not in the way you're thinking, but I believe the county is paying, my last set of numbers, when I looked it up, was around $300,000 a month for benefits that we're not supposed to be paying. So we're paying, because we're in a state plan.
Exactly.
Our policy book says we pay for a single policy. We're paying for family policies.
Annually, not monthly.
It's 30, I'm sorry, yeah, it's 30.
It was like 350, it was about 300.
Well, you take, you know, it's 52 times 600 as well.
Yeah, it's about $400,000 a year.
It's
But you had mentioned self-funded or partially self-funded.
Yeah.
And I really don't fully understand what either of those options would be, so I would like to learn more.
Sure. Yeah, and I think I mean, if you'd like to engage with the services from us, I can give you in an hour a lot of information, and I'd like to, you know, develop the relationship over time and see and spend some time working with you and talking to you about that. But that, sir, is it Jay?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jay, what happens is, that's what I was saying. So when your handbook says you're paying 100% a single, and you're forced because of what the state plan says, that you're forced to pay it and supplement, then you're paying a bunch of money that you probably, if you were on your own, you wouldn't have to pay.
Well, it's not budgeted for. That's what's taken on our stuff, and it's dwindled our, it's made the budget so far out of kilter that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, our employee benefit.
It was never figured out. Nobody
Is
understood exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So there was an unfunded cost that we had.
I just think it's always good to look at options and
Yeah.
a variety of them.
Yeah.
Just because you look at an option doesn't mean that's the road you're
Yeah.
gonna take, but you should learn
Right.
about all the options and then try
Yeah.
to decide what's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best.
Well, and see, that's the flexibility that you have. I mean, again, there's pros and there's cons. You know, the pro in being with the state plan is you've got a really, really big plan. You're part of the state plan, okay? The negative with that is the rates are really high. So you're paying an awful lot of money. And the other negative is it's put you into a deficit because you're paying $400,000 a year that if you were on your own, you would not have to pay. So that's the point where you say, well, as you look at the entire market and as you look at alternatives, is there a better way of doing things?
So we can still keep Blue Cross Blue Shield and still do it in what the policy says, we just pay for a single policy.
Well, and
Yes.
also, I think you had mentioned you could be with the Blue Cross policy and still be partially self-funded.
You
Like,
can.
You could mix
You
some of
can.
that.
You can.
And I
You
don't
can.
understand how that would work, but.
Yeah, so what happens, and that's where I was going with some market alternatives is, you know, by all means, Blue Cross, you could do a fully insured plan where you pay the premium and they pay all the claims. So I mean, that's a simple, you know, you pay $100,000 a month in premium and they pay all the claims. And then at the end of the year, they give you a renewal. They look at where the claims were, and typically they'll give you a rate increase, right? When you're self-funded and you're with Blue Cross, you'll pay a fixed cost of about $30,000 a month, and then you'll pay your claims up to a maximum. So I like the self-funded route better, whether it's with Blue Cross or whether it's with anybody else, because it gives you better information. I've seen the insurance companies pass on 5 to 7% increases for 30 years. And guess who's making, lots of times the claims are low and they're just padding their pocket, and it drives me crazy. But again, I mean, most companies would buy fully insured because that's what they're more comfortable with. But I mean, it's just the way we would do it is we would just point out, hey, there's pros and cons of both approaches. And I'll explain to you what the risk is by going to a self-funded plan and what the opportunities are with being fully insured. And Blue Cross has got a great contract. So, I mean, but where I was going with that also is some of our clients, and I've got a recent example of another county that was with Blue Cross, and they were getting this 5 to 7% increase every single year. And they decided to go what's called a benefits captive, which we've done a lot of. And the reason we do that is because most companies that are large go self-funded. And the reason they go self-funded is because they got greater control of their cost. If the claims are lower, we put in a wellness program. We start working with your employees on where to have their care and, you know, lifestyle choices and stuff like that. It gives you a lot more control in your ability to maintain affordability. But what happens is when you're self-funded and you're on your own, it can be pretty volatile. And that's why I always ask, have you had any experiences? So the thing I like about the captive is for large claims, we have a captive that has about 100 members in it. And on large claims, you share risk. So for the large claims, you share risk. For the low claims, then instead of paying the fully insured plan, you pay only your claims for the smaller ones. And it gives you a lot more flexibility in how you set up your plan and how you.
That's the partially self-funded?
Yeah, the captive. Yeah. Now, Blue Cross does the same thing, but the differences between Blue Cross and the captive is I don't know if you've seen the price of these specialty drugs lately, but they're just, Humira is, I mean, there's, out of every 100 employees, there's 2 people on Humira, and it's running about $8,000 a month. Well, Blue Cross will just pay it. They'll just pay the $8,000. What we can do is if you go to a self-funded plan with a captive, is we can go to the drug manufacturers and we can get the manufacturers, if somebody's we can leverage financial resources and we can get the manufacturers to pay for drugs. So that makes it a lot more, there's a little more work involved with that. There is more work involved, not a little more, there is more work, but there's payoffs. And those are just, you know, the types of things. It's the same thing on the rebates. What happens is Blue Cross on all these plans, they have these rebates on these drugs. Well, they're absorbing the rebates and they're padding their pocket. Instead of with a self-funded plan, we can get those rebates to come back to the county. And that's just, you know, there's thousands of dollars in rebates that you're, you know, leaving off the table. So those are just some ideas of some things that we can do to help.
We've got time, so.
Yeah.
If we had to get a lot of information on a lot of different things.
Sure. Yeah, so I've got some information here that I'd like to just kind of briefly review with you, if you don't mind, if you have. How much time do we have?
Oh,
Half an hour until 10:30. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep, no, you're good.
Well, so say I have another one. No. See, I've got a different. Yeah. Okay. It's a different company, but it's pretty similar type of presentation. Okay. So the first page here, we'll talk a little bit about about our company and about what we do. We've got about 100 clients. Our clients range in size from 10,000 employees. Our largest has about 3,000 employees. You know, we're very relationship oriented. I've got 2 other employees that would work with me on your account. We look for long-term relationships. We do have a process that we'll go through here in a minute. On the right-hand side there where it says company focus, on the left-hand side, I should say, it says company focus. We do healthcare primarily. We do other voluntary benefits, and we're doing a lot of technology type of stuff, like, you know, helping people administer their plan, giving employees an app where they can look at all their benefits, streamlining the administration of the program by having electronic feeds with the carriers, so you don't have to dramatically reduce staff time. Those are just some things that we're doing with our groups. The current trends, a lot of, this primary care clinic, a lot of our clients are integrating a health clinic for their employees. It's a little harder to do in a rural area, but a lot of our clients are doing that in Topeka and Kansas City. Lowering specialty drug cost, technology, employee resources, virtual care options. And as far as our company philosophy, we're very proactive. I'm completely on your side. I don't work for anybody but you. We're unbiased in our assessments. It's not like I have one company I work with. We're completely independent. So as we talk about engaging, we would review the entire market. We wouldn't just go to Blue Cross. We'd look at every option available and evaluate. And when we come to you with a recommendation, you would know that we've evaluated the whole market. That said, we've got really good relationships with 4 or 5 carriers, so we know how to work with the ones that are probably going to be the most competitive for you in this area. We work very hard for our customers. We've got really good vendor relationships. Any questions about our company or about what we do at all? If you flip over to the next page, I've got 2 associates that we would work with. One would be kind of strategic. That would be our account manager. She would, help me evaluate the market, look at alternatives, integrate some of the most up-to-date things that are going on in the benefit space. And then Gabby would be more day-to-day type of service if you have issues or anything like that. We've got a services agreement. If you flip over to the next page, we would love for you to just hire us so we can go to work. And there's 3 things that we would start with that are highlighted. One is a benefit plan strategy development. The second item would be evaluate the cost of care. The third item would be taking your information to market. Those are the things that we would do, I would say initially, and we would start working on like immediately. We've got a way of doing things that we've worked with a fee agreement. And if you flip over to the last page, there's kind of there's a fee agreement that you would contract with us to start engaging with the market and start working on alternatives right now. And it's kind of just outlined within the agreement. And we'll start working with your group to look at the health of your group, to look at the technology and the resources that are available. We could integrate an HR portal, and we could start evaluating the market for alternatives as of January 1 of 2023, which I think would be the time that you would look at this, right? You would look at the possibility of moving.
Yeah, because the current, we can make the current plan whatever, but the re-enrollment is October, I think.
Okay.
But,
Yep.
And then the contract we're in actually goes through December of 23.
Okay.
But there is the penalty, and it depends on how many, if we end up getting out, there's a penalty, they charge you the penalty per month. So I had already received that information a while back. But
Okay.
we are, this would probably, 23 would be, I don't think you'd want to switch midstream. I think we'd be
want to go with your benefit period.
Well, so I guess what I would say with that is there would be pros and cons affiliated with that. And what I mean by that is, you've got this $400,000 bogey that you're paying right now, right? I mean, you're paying more in theory. That's what's putting you into a deficit. And I guess one strategy would be, well, why don't we just look at the market right now? Why don't we just see what's available right now? And then if we say, okay, well, if we defer, we can always defer. But if you can move at any time, which I think you can, it's a month-to-month contract, you say, well, what's the downside to looking at it right now to see what's available and just see if it's feasible? I would agree, in theory, January 1 would be probably the most effective time because of your calendar year deductible, your out-of-pocket level and all that stuff. But we have clients that move in the middle of the year all the time, and your deductible, I mean, the biggest things are, if I were thinking about it from you guys' perspective is, if you're able to, number one, find a better program and better pricing sooner than what you're paying right now, that would be positive. The second thing would be is if you could restructure your contribution strategy and get out from behind that $400,000, because every month you're paying $32,000 more than what you really need to, right? I'm not saying that's a guarantee. I don't know. I don't know if we could. I don't know if that would happen or not. But what's the risk and what's the downside in looking at it now? I don't know that there is any. So. I lost my train of thought. The other thing is when you move, anybody that had met their deductible or met their out-of-pocket level, we would just transfer that to the new carrier. So nobody would be hurt in any way by making a move earlier than January 1. So it's an awful lot of information, but
It looks like when I read this, the consulting arrangement is we pay $500 per quarter until we figure out what we're doing.
Right.
So the most we're going to pay if we're doing it for a year is $2,000.
Well, I thought it said 500 per month.
It says per quarter.
Okay, I'll do it per quarter then. That's what it says, then that's what I'll do it for. Now, the only caveat with that would be is if we're able to find something that improves on your situation.
It shows that changes.
Then that vendor would pay us directly. It wouldn't be you paying us. The vendor would pay us a fee structure. So, in theory, the savings would be enough to pay for the services that we provide. It's not like it would cost you more than what it's, you wouldn't move unless we had significant savings on the table. Right.
So I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
To verify.
Yep.
Let's say they did use you.
Yep.
So the vendor, are they paying the fees or would the county pay your fees?
Yeah, so basically the contract would be at $500 per quarter. That's just going to cover our expenses to take it to market and to do the work. Going forward, the vendor would pay us all the fees. So all of our fee structure would be paid for by the vendor, and that's a good question. And I would outline what those fees are. Yeah.
So when the county, once you sign up for a program, $500 a quarter goes away, is what you're saying on here.
Right. Yeah, and
it's to get it to market.
And that's to take it to market. Now, if you took the recommendations, I wouldn't charge you the $500 per quarter anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just take that out because I would be paid for. Basically, the $500 per quarter is just.
You're getting a commission for selling insurance.
Right.
So of the 500.
So different everybody else, everybody gets a commission off of it, so.
Of all these items that you have listed here, what all does the 500 include?
The highlighted services at the start.
The three, these three?
Yeah. It's
And then these are additional things down the road.
Those are things that we're going to do automatically when we place the business. So those are all the additional services that we would provide
So it's at no charge.
at no charge. Right, well, it would be paid for by the insurance company,
That's part of the discussion.
Right.
So this agreement would be where you're basically gonna shop the market for us.
We're gonna shop the market for you, and we could also, like I said, not only will we shop the market, but we'll look at some technology, we'll give you access to an HR portal. So I mean, there's some other things that we could do, that we will do if you sign the contract with us.
So how often do you shop the market? Once a year, annually, how does that work?
Yeah, so typically what I would say is, once we find a market, in theory, I mean, you'd like to think that we have a 3 to 5 year relationship with that market. That doesn't always mean that that's the case. I mean, if the market that we select, if it goes crazy, and as we're evaluating things, if we think we're gonna need to go to market, we will go to market at any time. But typically what happens is, you don't need to go to market every year as long as that vendor is meeting our expectations. If they're not meeting our expectations, or if there's something else I feel like we need to look at, or if there's a market trend that's not being identified by the current vendor, then by all means, we'll take it to market whenever we need to. Typically, it's every couple of years we go to market, typically. But some clients will take it to market more often than that. It's just a matter of us collaborating and working together and finding out what's best.
But those fee structures from them will be just built into the contract.
They'll be built into the contract. Yes, sir.
So this would get us started with the initial items you outlined.
Yes, it will.
You would get the data from us.
Yep.
And that you would take, and that's how you shop.
Yep.
For us with whatever.
Yep.
Our employee base.
Yep, that's correct.
And how long does that take? And
I mean, you get us the data, it typically takes about 3 weeks for us to get the responses back from the market.
And you'd be able to shop before for companies.
Oh, yeah.
Cigna, United, and else. And that way you can price compare.
I can.
Those quotes against.
Yes.
Each other.
Right. Now, remind me, how many employees do you have on the plan right now? About 100? Okay.
Well, what we pay in payroll is the same number as the amount of people on benefits, because some of those are part-time.
Right, but it's real close.
About 100 on the
quite a few employees right now.
Yeah.
It would probably be under that.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, would you mind explaining to me again what's causing the deficit? Because I think I understand it because of the way that the state is requiring you to pay a certain percentage of the cost.
Correct. On family.
Okay.
So
And
right now, our policy book states that we pay 100% of a single premium.
Okay.
Well, what's happening is we are paying a big percentage on some family premiums to the tune of 50, I believe it was 52 employees at approximately $600 and some dollars a piece per month.
Okay.
So a little over $35,000 a month basically.
Okay.
And that's been going on for the past
Okay.
10 years. And nobody figured that out. And the employee benefit fund is now not in the hole and they like that.
And we did look into the contract
And that's what that.
in detail. And we actually talked with representatives from whatever company manages the plan.
The state plan.
They are adamant that that contract states that we have to pay the premium and that we cannot, because we thought we would just deduct the family portion out for anyone who chooses to have a family, but they are adamant that that is not legal. So
Okay, so given that fact, and I'm probably getting the cart in front of the horse a little bit, but so right now, you've got 50 employees that have family coverage that are paying less than, they're paying less than what the market in theory would bear. Is that correct?
Well, the county is paying a fair share of theirs that we're not supposed to.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because, Yeah, I'm just saying the other way. I
And
mean,
I don't know, how do you fix that, because they've been doing it that way for 10 years since they signed 11 years, so however long they've had this
Yeah.
state contract.
yeah, well, and see, that is the dilemma, and I mean, it's kind of like, well, let's talk about the dilemma, because basically what's happening is you say, okay, well, if we could cut into that, say we cut into that in half, because what's gonna happen is what we're able to come back to you with, it's gonna be difficult at this point for you to change the contributions for the employees. Because the employees are saying, well, I've got family coverage and I'm paying $600 a month, while the market, I mean, I should be paying $1,500 a month, right? So,
And it's different, because if it's like, the most expensive one, I think is family, spouse, all that, that's the one that would be
Yeah.
very.
yeah.
The other one's not nearly.
Yeah. So when we evaluate the market, independently, you'd like to think that you find some alternatives that can save you money, that will make that transition smoother.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and that's what we gotta discover. That's what we gotta.
Which brings us back to the self-insured part. Maybe
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
absorb some of that and not have that so dramatic and fix everything, still have the Blue Cross Blue Shield, fix a lot of things.
I mean, I agree. I mean, that's where the flexibility lies, is you say, well, now you're strapped into, you gotta pay that.
I think the fee
You have
to
to
pay that, I remember, that was 40-some thousand, we'd have to pay Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Well, yeah, the penalty, if we'd gotten out this year, was a certain amount, and then
So it
obviously it's
varies,
half if we got
so
out
there's
next year.
ways to look at all, because you can figure all that total cost in. and
Yeah.
figure out where you're at.
I mean, I think I figured that if we hadn't gotten out, and if we'd gotten out for 22 and 23, even with the penalty, I think it was gonna save us like $500,000 or $600,000, even if we took like an $80,000 penalty. That was just a really broad estimate.
Yeah.
But then it might cause us more harm and for 50-some plus.
Well, yeah, this is not something you wanna just flippantly do. You
No,
really-
yeah, I mean, we gotta take a look at it and
Maybe
see
if we
what.
have a plan that works good for everybody.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. You gotta take some time to do this.
Sure. Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
from that standpoint, I would think that we would want them to look at us, give us some alternatives. And if we're $500 per quarter, I think that's not a bad price to have somebody getting us some alternatives in place. So I'm gonna make a motion that we sign the agreement with the Watco Benefit Group to give us some plans, give us some ideas on what we can do moving forward with the insurance coverages in the county. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. We need one signature on here.
Yeah, one signature.
Permission to sign this.
one signature is fine.
Can you make that motion like so?
I move that we authorize the chairman to sign the agreement.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Who is it?
So all the data you need will come from the post office.
I'll give you back this copy.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
And then if Wanda needs a copy, then you can make your copies or whatever.
And then whenever you need to be on the agenda, just kind of carve out how much time you think you need to present on the information. And then documents, if, they get sent to her, she can forward the test if we need to review these in advance.
Yeah. Perfect.
And just for the employees that are watching, I have several employees that are watching our meeting.
Yeah.
This does not mean we're changing something tomorrow. Matter of fact, it absolutely means we're not changing it anymore. It's gonna be looking at some alternatives, and when this all comes about, it'll be something we can take to the employees and everybody can look at it.
Sure.
Would you want me to Greg sign mine, you sign that one? So we
Here,
have
I'll
an
sign,
original,
yeah.
And then she has an original, or
Sure.
we can email each other her original
Yeah.
copy or whatever, but if you wouldn't mind doing that, we have the original
I
copy.
don't mind at all.
You have a part on. I think I can do it.
Okay. Before you get up, we're gonna take a quick recess for,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna take, I'm gonna partake in that quick recess.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
How are you, Rhonda?
How about yourself?
Good, good. Rhonda, does the courthouse have panic buttons?
We do. I know nothing about them other than where they are.
Are you functional?
Yes, they tested them within last year. I think it was probably fall. When they tested them, they go to the sheriff's department and, yeah. And we don't have one in this room, which you know, has that, but, all the offices have multiple.
Good. If they're ever gonna need, we'd love to help you with that. We're actually doing quite a few courthouses right now. It's kind of hard to find somebody that still does that.
I honestly don't know how many the sheriff's department does a little bit, so. Brett Lewis is the communications director, and he's like, testing.
Good. She's Brent Lewis. Fred, we're going to play tennis this Saturday. Can I count on you?
Oh, yeah, right. I've never played tennis in my life.
Put that wrist on it.
Oh, no. Golf and tennis, never tried either one.
Should I go over and?
Yes. I was going to.
Oh.
Oh, that's true.
I see that.
Look at
Ron, here it comes.
Jesse's out of the
Rhonda was looking for you.
What's up?
Go ahead, give him his rubber.
I think it should be Commissioner Peter.
Oh, my jeans? No, I apologize. I completely forgot about it this morning when I got dressed, so I will wear pants.
I'm gonna be fine.
You have to buy a Melody now.
Thanks, guys.
I think we're ready for you, Mr. Jones.
Ladies
We
and
are
gentlemen,
here.
how is everybody?
Okay.
I'm flying solo today. My tech guy won't be joining us, but he did review what you all were asking for on our last visit. This system will do everything you asked it for. And we cut out 2 laptops, got it down to the as low a price as we could possibly get it. And it is an installed price. My people will do everything turnkey. Other than removing 2 laptops, one thing you'll notice is I put on 4 new microphones that may or may not be required. One of the problems we have is the echo in the room. By putting microphones closer to the speakers, we can eliminate some of that. But there's also some things that y'all can do. Y'all. Drapes would make a difference. Any kind of tapestries we could hang from the walls would make a difference. I have talked to a professional painter, and he thinks that Sherwin-Williams has a sound deadening paint that the room could be painted with. It's very porous and would help absorb some of the sound. It wouldn't do it all, but might help. I was in a similar setting in Hebron, Nebraska last week, and they have a similar type room with a similar type problem. And they actually got 1/4-inch plywood and big tetrahedrons that they upholstered and hung from the wall. Kind of decorative that matched the upholstery, matched the paint, and it, looked pretty good, and it made a world of difference.
I have an idea on that. I'm gonna talk to the Historical Society, because you can get photos printed off fabric.
There you go.
And maybe they want to take on a project of finding a handful of vintage photos from around the county, and those could be put on fabric and hung to where it's aesthetically pleasing, plus it's a purpose.
Heather, that's a wonderful idea.
But I would like them to do that, because they would be able to find just the right photos of different.
And if those photos were mounted to like 4x8 sheets of,
Yeah, that's what I'm envisioning, is they could look at the size of the wall
Yeah.
and what size would fit in that. That would look nice.
styrofoam. If that could be mounted on the styrofoam would also help.
You said 4x8 sheets?
Yeah, or 2x8 or whatever they come in. You get them at like Hobby Lobby.
And you just cover them with styrofoam.
Oh yeah, if you just take the picture that you're talking about made of fabric on the styrofoam is also porous and would help absorb the sound as well. So you're off to a good track, but the bottom line is we're still talking the 5-year warranty. We're talking our people installing it. It comes with 1 laptop, and I'd encourage you to leave the laptop for this purpose only. Don't allow anybody to use it for anything else, because it comes preloaded with the software to run the meeting the way you wanted it to run. And it can be set up to go on YouTube or any other platform you want it to be. But if we use that laptop for other things, we can corrupt that.
What's the other monitor and stuff that's on it?
There's a viewing PC, but there's a laptop, which the laptop would sit there and that runs the program.
Right, and then we'd also have a viewing monitor that y'all could see what's going on.
So it looks
You
like
wouldn't-
that, it looks similar.
Yeah, except bigger. But you guys could see what's going on without looking at Rhonda's laptop.
And then that would leave that available
For
for other things. So like if someone comes in and makes a presentation,
exactly.
they could use that instead of having, like we do Zoom and we put our Zoom up there, then they need to give a presentation.
You're
So
golden.
it's basically gonna be like that, a bigger,
Yes,
that would be left available for.
right. So you'd be golden, Heather. And with that software that's on the laptop, your meeting will be seamless. It'll just flow. Be very user friendly.
And I did talk to Amanda and Sunny, and we are all set up for Zoom meetings. And so I think we need to discuss it, but I think that's probably what we want to do.
The Zoom platform is actually designed for meetings. YouTube is more designed for videos. So it is a better platform, but I can do it whatever you want.
I think we'll discuss it, but I think the Zoom is something that would allow more public participation.
It does.
Because if people want to do public comment and they don't want to drive 20-some miles here, they can log on to the Zoom meeting and be available.
Right, and because they have to log on, you at least know they have some interest.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, I thought that would also make this room available if we needed it as a separate room for cases, right?
I could use it for court.
For court, this could double as a room for court if they needed.
Yeah, a lot more flexibility.
And so with having the Zoom, I know they've done a lot of stuff for their Zoom the last year or two with court, so.
There are board meetings, almost everything,
Yeah, well,
or other
I
meetings.
mean, I thought she did webinars and you could do webinars.
So we've really simplified it, and still got it. Jake is our top tech designer, and he was the one that was with me last week, so he knows what you want, 2 weeks ago. He knows what you want, and he put it in this system. So I think we have you covered, but now it's whatever you want to do. I'm out about 6 to 8 weeks, so if you want to get on the schedule, we need to,
You have any other questions on this?
No, is it still where it's coming from the
It's
Jack's
for,
office?
the emergency from Jack's office, yes. So if we're ready, I'll make a motion for that, and then if Jack has a problem, then I know we won't, because this is less than what it was last time. So I'll make a motion to approve enter into an agreement with INA Alert to change the capabilities of the room for the meetings, including that, so I'll just say that voice and audio parts of the meeting room we pay for out of the diversion funds of the county attorney's office.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll also make the motion to approve the chairman to sign the agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
How?
There's one there. If you'll sign it and let Rhonda get a copy of it since she has it too.
If,
How many of those soundboards do you think would be ideal?
as many as you can put up. This room has so much echo. But just wherever, you gotta have aesthetics too, so whatever you think.
And we
But
put
anything's
these
even
on
better.
behind the mat, we'll put them up behind these and put those back up. I signed that right. No, I signed up to 22nd. Changed mine to the 18th.
Sure.
I put 21, 22, 22. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to get to the 22nd so fast. Well, I have that special going on. I didn't know what I wrote.
Making sure I have authority to sign. I'm making sure I have authority to sign. If we get here and we don't use, it comes automatically with 2 mics. I added 4 more. If we get here and don't need those, then they will be removed from the final invoice.
And I think he was talking about putting the camera that way, so the podium would show you that way if we needed to do something.
Of course, when my tech guys get here, maybe there'll be somebody around that can discuss it, and we'll put it in the most optimal place. And Sonny, if you want Sonny to be involved, he's welcome to be here while we're installing. We'll go through any maintenance requirements that he might want to know
Yeah, he
about.
might, do you have his contact number? You might just call him and just say, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what he may, I don't know, he may have questions that I would ask. But I can give you his number.
I got an email from you, Heather. Is his number on there?
What's your email? I'll just,
It's,
is it on here?
yeah,
Or is it marked?
I am.
Okay, I got your card here.
Okay. Does
I'll-
anybody else need a card?
I'll text you or
Yeah. Because we'll be talking, so sure. Can I go to your office and make a photo of me?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll.
Oh, no.
Is that a note in the resident office?
Or I just sent that message to you.
Are you gonna, how long are you
What's the length or the least amount of time?
gonna do? I'm not sure how long you're gonna do.
Not 5 minutes, so 10 minutes?
So, if, decide, we can wait until after the so.
Have any questions? Any questions?
I don't think so. I just texted you something.
Okay, and if you
And I'll.
need anything, I'm
I
supposed
said,
to.
you got the copy, so you.
I'm gonna go to Ron's office and make a copy. I'll leave you one.
And I can send Sunny a message and just let him know that we're proceeding with this. And
Sounds good.
hopefully between the two of you guys will.
Sounds good.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Now, when you get ready, this, by the way, this is easily expandable. So if we get started and you say, you know, it's close, but if we could just do this, we can easily make that happen for you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.
Ron, they're a lot nicer than what you said.
We'll change next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he bring up the contract, except for the amount?
Well, that's.
Yeah.
$4,045 and some odd cents. I thought I read that in there. Come on up, man.
Need to go into executive session for non-elected personnel, 10 minutes.
I will move to go into executive session under the following sections of the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter section to discuss personal matters related to non-elected personnel to protect the rights and privacy of the individuals involved, to include Tammy Fager from the General Transportation Department and Pat County Counselor for a period of 10 minutes. We'll call it 10:55, the meeting to resume in this room at 11 o'clock.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
Too much going on in my brain.
I think you're on a break. I think you're on a break.
They're in executive session for about 10 minutes, then they have one other thing. The state people did not keep it on the agenda, so, if you can just wait until they have time to take you, it shouldn't be too long.
No problem.
We won't talk too long.
Maybe I will, but I just, did not get it to be on the right place and carry over to the final agenda.
It'll be okay.
Okay.
We're not stressing over it. Thank you for having us. Oh, no.
I'm down. That is cute.
No, thank you.
Very dark.
Oh, and the reversible. There's a years ago.
No.
Home jewelry party.
I think I've got it.
Good. I was joking, that you finish the meeting water.
I have that person.
Good.
Some friends of mine moved, and they said, do you need water bill? I said, I pretty much have nothing. And they said, okay, we have lots of farm scenes, farm country scenes.
I may have a little bit of nothing major.
Right, I was just happy. Happy.
I'm glad you're being professional.
Yeah, I tried. But I hope someone's going to do more anyway. That way it's easier for the professionals.
No, I thought we were paying.
Just do it. Wednesday.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Wednesday, Thursday are cleanup. Okay. Friday, Saturday is cleanup. Monday is permits. Wednesday's a regular day.
No, not for a long time. That's what happened to me. But I decided what to do.
I'm sorry. I'm also
I would ask the caterer how long it's going to take them to set up and let them decide. Because each caterer can be different on their setup time period. Marlene can get there when you guys get there, or more than likely, we will already have the lens there the day before and set up. Period. So, another good recommendation for cupcakes is nothing but cakes.
Yeah, no, I am, gonna schedule this. I haven't done that. Yeah, we're gonna schedule this. Oh, by the way, the clean's probably gonna be. That's Victor said, you don't have to do something. That's especially there's no work.
Yes, when you have to say before, you can bring them whatever you like. I would recommend bringing them as much as you can. That way you don't have to worry about it.
Devlin? Devlin. D-E-L-N. And, Worth,
I'm glad to hear it. So the whole working out.
I am
Remember,
actually
you need
doing
a shuttle
service
service.
with this gym. So-
That is black label transportation.
And one of them, yesterday,
I'm more
messaged me and said, so what's this about? Email or text or whatever. So she filled out an application. No phone number. And I said, call me when you're free.
Thanks again for reaching out. You got any other
Very different. Sorry.
I didn't even know.
Time.
He's gonna go visit somebody else if I had time.
It is my fault.
Not coming to that.
Okay, the other thing,
So no action taken in the executive session.
I don't even know what day this is either.
Did all the buses get figured out for parking and now?
I called the city, and because of the weather, we parked them for that, over the weekend or holiday, or whatever, we parked them over by the caboose. Now, it'll be a situation by situation until we can get the parking lot, because if it's rented, we
We're
won't.
going to the planning and zoning, it says Pat tells me about.
Yeah, we're just waiting on a variance from the city so we can gravel and run it out. So everything's done for the building, everything's out.
Yes, yeah, we're done with that, so. The Purple Wave sent me a contract, it's under me, and basically, they don't charge us because we're an entity, whatever. They will come, they come take pictures of it, they, yes, they put what it's worth and the whole thing, they do it all, so.
On your calendar, look and see if the senior center is available the afternoon, February 25th.
I don't have that calendar, but I can check it. That's a Friday for commission or for?
It'll be for the commissioner in the room, but we're going to have the time required for the class center.
Okay.
4 o'clock.
At what, 4 o'clock? Okay, that brings another question. Did you guys decide anything about us closing at 4 instead of 4:30? Closing at 4 instead of 4:30?
You preferred 7:30 to 4. I don't mind either way. We just needed to change the hours of the senior center so that there was a half-hour break for lunch, which everyone has to take now. So we had put 8 to 4:30, she asked for 7:30 to 4. We just have to make an amendment to the policy manual, which we asked if we could just amend with one page.
So guess, on Purple Wave, I'm just asking, it's okay if I sign that with Purple Wave? Okay, it's on computer. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, he'll have to resend everything. It doesn't matter to me. It's all on computer. So, okay, all right, that was it.
It's got the county as the purpose of solid, right?
Yeah, it does. It just says that I'm a,
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
You ready first? I'm Gail Taylor.
Sorry,
Ford.
Clark, I forgot our. Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll call it if you want.
I'm Gail Taylor Ford, this is Melissa Landis. We're with Empower House, and we came back to give you an update. And
I'll jump in. We have, as of 2 weeks ago, if I look tired, you're gonna know why. 2 weeks ago, we acquired a lease on a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. So we have capacity for 6 ladies starting February 1st. The 4th bedroom is for myself. I will be there for 30 to 90 days. Really just making sure everything gets on its feet and gets going well. It has been an absolutely amazing journey, also terrifying, but in the last 2 weeks, we have torn out wallpaper, pretty good remodel, and during the next couple of weeks, we've got furnishings to fill in the pieces, but we're definitely making headway. In Emporia, close to 9th and Prairie Street, so pretty good neighborhood, as opposed to some of the places that they're living in currently, but really just wanted to give you an update on our progress. We are still looking towards the bigger building that would house easily 14 to 20 females in recovery. And those are females from any county surrounding Lane, anything surrounding Lane County.
I know we kind of talked this last time, was on the funding bill for.
yes,
I don't remember all the details now.
We are still seeking funding, because that's what we do. We gotta be able to, to maintain the residence for the ladies, and then as the ladies get on their feet, they will start paying rent, after they've, are able to gain employment and such. And all of them have to be in recovery, be working towards abstinence from substance abuse, whether they're in treatment or have already completed treatment.
And we haven't officially announced this, the contract's coming. We received a grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce. It is a discretionary community services block grant. So, and that's gives us some funding for primarily furnishings and utilities, but obviously there's a ton of other expenses that go along with this project. Did well last year in regards to our fundraising, but what brings us back is we want to talk about special alcohol funds.
And this was when we were gonna have the sheriff come in, and you guys thought this stuff over here?
I have left probably 6 voicemails for him over the last 6 weeks. Prior to that, left voicemails maybe 3-4 months ago. Have not received any calls. I am reaching out to probations and community corrections in all 7 counties, so they're aware of the resource.
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
And I think you answered this last time, I don't remember. How are you different from Crosswinds and Drug-Free Osage County?
Okay, Crosswinds provides mental health treatment. They provide 0 alcohol and drug treatment. They went out of that business a few years back.
And none of those none of those other organizations have anything to do with housing. So
Your plan is housing for individuals that are currently recovering?
correct,
Or
and
ladies only.
and life skills training. So that is budgeting, cooking, job search, relationships.
And this is like, they could be coming out of jail and not have anywhere to
Well, that was
go.
my question.
Yes, that is, we are an option for that.
Okay, and then, I don't have Drug-Free Osage County on here, but is that still? But it doesn't look like they must be getting, I don't see them on here. as getting funded.
And I'm going back to remember, I believe it was gonna get a hold of, I would probably reach out to Scott. Did you have him reach out to Scott?
What's the amount you're requesting from different entities?
It varies. With Coffee County, as an example, we requested 50, but I think they have somewhere in the range of 22,000 available. Because nobody's touched those funds in that county since 2012.
And you said you were looking at what, there was a fund that you named.
Special alcohol fund.
Yeah.
And we get probably about $10,000 to $12,000 a year in that fund.
And where has that?
Currently, it's split between Crosswinds and Drug-Free Osage County, but you make that decision. Some people off the sale of alcohol, I obviously don't know, it's through the state.
It's liquor by the drink. So if you order a bourbon and Coke, that distributor or that seller collects liquor fees, which then go off to the state. The state then, and you're a little bit different because there's no city here that's over 6,000, but all of that money comes back to the county. When it comes back to your county, it goes into 3 pools, third, and third. First pool is the general fund. The second pool that it goes into is a parks and recreation. It's a special fee fund, if you will. And then the third fund is the special alcohol fund. Your expenditures are drug, alcohol, smoking, cessation, education, or treatment. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, that's okay. And when you came last time, I don't remember, but did you present some sort of like a proposed budget of what you thought the revenue you're needing to obtain? And then what did you bring that last?
I brought this one last time, and if you guys want copies again.
I remember this one.
You're good? Fred, you want a copy too?
Yeah, I guess. I think I have one.
Okay. When you scroll back towards the tail end, somewhere in here, I've got information on funding. With the larger facilities, there we go. Page 3 or 4, startup budget. This has a total budget, and this is for the larger building, not for the one we're in now. It has a total budget of $419,000. We have acquired 100,000 for renovations. I'm currently working with a donor in regards to acquisition of the building. But then obviously you've got those ongoing costs and furnishings, sheets, towels, blankets, right? And the good news is once we come in, once we've got this program up and operational, then you're working through all of these operational policies. So now we've got more of a proven model as we move forward.
And just know that, I'm the executive director and owner of Therapy Services, and I have offices in Burlington and in Emporia. And we do get several Osage County clients each year. And I do come to the Osage County Jail to do evals on occasion.
So what all counties are involved in that?
7 counties, it is Lyon County, Coffee County, Chase County, Wabunsee, Morris, Greenwood, and Osage.
So can you submit to us all, what other entities have committed in the amounts that they're funding?
And do you just want entities or do you want total funding as in?
I could just do both. I mean, if you have like a listing of the individuals that are committed in the amounts, and then if you have like a proposed budget of administration and facilities,
Okay.
just a list of all that just.
Absolutely. And on the counties, we are appearing before 6 county commissions in basically the next 4 weeks, plus the city of Emporia. City of Emporia is a little bit different. They actually have special alcohol funds because they've got a population larger than 6,000. But I can certainly work on that and get that submitted in the next 2 weeks.
Heather, would the county also want any stats? How specifically, how many women came from Osage County versus other counties? Would you want that kind of information?
And I don't know that I'm gonna have that
I mean,
available
they're
yet.
startups, so they're not gonna have, I mean,
Oh,
she
Yeah,
has
this
therapy.
is brand new. We opened February 1st, but I own Therapy Services.
Oh,
And I brought, I think I brought those numbers last time, and I did not.
I think it was 11 or 14.
I think it was 14 in the past year that were from Osage that had come to Therapy Services, but they still could go to Cornhouse and they still could go to Topeka from this county. And, but, just, from Powerhouse, they don't have to go to Therapy Services to go to Powerhouse. They can, go to Courthouse or anywhere else for treatment.
Sometimes there's people getting out of jail.
Yeah.
They really don't have anywhere to go. They need to get away from their previous situation. And they need an environment where they have some time to
Focus.
take, try to make some changes and get off of these.
Over this past year, I've had a client who, who could not live in her home in Osage County because she lived next door to her drug dealer. And so she stayed at the lake.
Just not
and
that situation.
Different places can be, yeah.
Any other questions for us? We're still plugging, we're still coming. And like I said, if I look tired now, you know why. We've been working over there 6, 7, 8 hours a day. If you need help with wallpaper removal, don't call me.
Any more questions?
I don't think so. We just need to look at that fund and then we got to, because we haven't
Well, I
finished
know,
the
when the
appropriation.
sheriff was there, and I know they were talking about those funds and what they were doing, that's why I keep asking. So we need to probably have, trust there to explain that to us.
Right, it's the commissioners that decide where the funds go. But, I mean, the sheriff was the one who kind of.
I was thinking he already had it put out, though, how he was spending that money, that's all I want to make sure. And maybe I'm wrong, and that's why I just want to verify that.
Okay.
We'll be the first one.
And
My
just,
wife tells me that all the time.
and when you're considering the funds, I know the services that Crosswoods provides in this county are very important, but they are mental health services. They are not alcohol and drug. And we work hand in hand with them as well, because, we share a lot of clients.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks for your time.
Sure, have a great day.
So, like Roger said, this has been split in half between three persons. So this was an entity added on. They end up being in those appropriated funds. But this, this is where we would love to see.
How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Don't act so excited.
So what?
Don't act so excited.
More out. It's a tough weekend.
It was?
Yeah. One of my grandsons come down. I kept the baby, kept him, and he got sick at our house. So he was kind enough to spread it to my wife and I. We're well now, but stomach flu and stuff just wipes an old guy out.
So, we need some help.
Okay,
We need to open up some positions.
okay.
The first and foremost one we probably need to advertise quickly is the head custodian position for the courthouse.
Okay.
Okay. And probably a job description.
I've got one.
Okay.
Is it custodial only or like facilities management or facilities?
Well, I don't
Container.
know.
You better start with a janitor first. That's the most important thing. I don't know what skill levels for,
Like the one that you have.
Electrician.
Talked about, well, I don't know about.
Right.
General maintenance type of person.
Right.
Handyman type guy, I mean.
I think the description I have, and I had the existing custodian just look at it, make sure it was up to date. And I think it did have like oversee maintenance of HVAC units and elevator and those type of things. So it was more than just general cleaning or
A
custodian.
lot of that's big phone.
Right,
right,
yeah, you don't have to have all
I
the
guess
knowledge, but at
Like
least,
general assessments of the county buildings, like on maybe on an annual basis or whatever, when we're just kind of assessing the building, to see if there's any general maintenance that needs to be done. Something to that effect. I don't know.
Looking for paint, mold, and.
Yeah, just always be watching for general maintenance and take care of something when it's minimal before it snowballs into something that's really expensive.
sure,
Just some general knowledge of, like you said, some
yeah, different mechanical systems.
kind of mechanical knowledge.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have certification, but.
His resignation is the, what did I say, what day? 31st, so we've got, our timing is not real great.
Okay,
And I don't think we can get it in the paper, can we get it in the paper this week?
Probably not, I just last night.
If he gets it written up, I can get it posted on all the local meeting papers.
They have you as a contact, I guess.
sure. Usually I just have them send them to the clerk's office and they drop them to me, but yeah,
And because the next time, the first time we get the paper is gonna be the 26th, 27th, so I would probably put this until position here.
yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to have it rolled by.
I think the deadline's 1:00 today.
1 o'clock today.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Isn't that what Gary said last week?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
because of the holiday, right, could be right. We may not even do that.
Yeah. See what I can do.
Is that the only one? I thought you said there was one.
What's it?
Anything
Oh,
else?
the other departments aren't ones we had, I don't know where they're.
Oh.
That's the one that stuck out to me, that's the one.
We do have some ads out right now. Did you know if we're getting any responses? No.
What are the ones that are still open?
Public Works, and we also requested general clerical help just to get a pool of names for the courthouse if we needed them.
And that's posted on our website, didn't it? I'll just go take those and I'll post them in our little Facebook. Those are the two main public ones in the general clerk.
I think that's the only two we have out.
And then you're gonna write it because it'll be all with somebody one
That it?
That works.
All right, go get to work on that. If I get that to you, can you get it into the paper, or how do you just email them over or something? Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Oh, and on that, other deal, it'll be fuel line from the fuel pump to the main lines up to the water lines.
Okay. You know what they're done.
So the reading of the previous board minute meetings, the Board of County Commissioners met in regular session on Monday, January 10th, 2022, with all members present. That Walsh County Council was also present. Nobody from the public was present. Reorganization of the Board of County Commissioners in Osage County, Kansas. Meeting was called over by Ron Beats, County Clerk. Nominations for chairman were called for. Motion was made by Dowd, seconded by Peter, to appoint Commissioner Bailey as the chairman for the period of January 10th, 2022 through January 9th, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. The meeting was then turned over to the elected chairman. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to appoint Commissioner Peter as vice chairman for the period of January 10th, 2022 through January 9th, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to appoint the Board of County Commissioners as official board offense bureaus for the period of January 10th, 2022, through January 9th, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to set the regular meeting days and hours of the Board of County Commissioners as follows: the first Monday of each month and each Monday of the month thereafter from 8:30 a.m. through 4 p.m. or until finished business, or until business is finished. Each first business day of the month that does not fall on a regular commission meeting day from 8:30 until business is finished, to approve payroll and miscellaneous expenses and to conduct any other necessary business. The 15th of each month that does not fall on a regular commission meeting day from 8:30 a.m. until business is finished. Also to approve miscellaneous expenses and conduct any other necessary business from 8:30 until noon, to approve payroll. Tuesday following a Monday holiday from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. until business is finished. December 30th from 8:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. or until until business is finished. All board members carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to appoint the county commissioners as purchasing agents for the county. Purchase orders will be required for purchases in excess of $300. All vouchers and bills are to be turned into payroll clerk by the 10th and 21st of each month. Any voucher or bill turned in after these dates will not be paid until the following pay period, and then they're all listed. And I won't go by months, I'll tell you the dates: 18, 14, 14, 15, 16, 15, 15, 16, 15, 17, 15, 15. Those are all January through December. Then miscellaneous, that's miscellaneous goes all the way. Payroll and miscellaneous is on the first of each month, except for May the 2nd, August 2nd, and January 3rd of 2003. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to reappoint Caitlin Minor, Health Department Director, January 10, 2022 to January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to reappoint Greg McCurdy, Emergency Management Director, for the period of January 10, 2022 to January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Peter, to reappoint Ryan Fine, Public Works Director, for the period of January 10, 2022 to January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to reappoint Tammy Fager, General Public Transportation Senior Center Director, for the period of January 10, 2022 to January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to reappoint Rebecca Barkley, Land Development Director, for the period of January 10, 2022 through January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Peter, to reappoint Amanda Coleman, Economic Development Director, for the period of January 10, 2022 through January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion is made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to reappoint Steve Bosman, Osage County Surveyor, for the period of January 11, 2022 through January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dowd, to designate the following banks as county depositories for the period of January 10, 2022 through January 9, 2023. which is London State Bank, Landmark National Bank, First National Bank of Kansas, First Security Bank, Kansas State Bank, and Citizens Bank. All voted aye, the motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to set the holidays for the years 2022 as follows. Learning to read each of those. As presented. Transfer station holidays are the same except for Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Veterans Day, and the day after Thanksgiving. And allow one discretionary day per year to be used with the approval of the department head to take effect after the first 6 months of employment. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to designate Osage County Herald Chronicle as the official county newspaper for a period of January 10, 2022 through January 9, 2023. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to set the mileage rate at 50 cents per mile effective January 10, 2022. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to designating the Osage County Commissioner districts to include the cities and townships as follows. They're all the same as they were. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to adopt resolution 22-01 to approve the gap waiver from the county. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to adopt resolution 2202 to authorize participation in the Rural Opportunity Zone Student Loan Repayment Program for the calendar year 2022. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to reappoint Jan Davis, David Thompson, Rodney Berquist, Earl Schultz, and Alex Zerby to the Planning and Zoning Board and approve mileage to be paid at the end of the year for meetings attended. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to reappoint Commissioner Cooter to the SOS Board and East Central Kansas Area on Aging Board and Commissioner Diver to the ECAN and Lake Region Authority Board. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve the sewer malt beverage license for Mont Hill Resort, Junction Township. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve the termination of Lois Brown effective December 23rd, 2021. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve and sign the 2022 budget for the Lake Region Authority. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to adopt resolution 2203 to appoint Christine Lowe as the Osage County Appraiser effective January 3rd, 2022 through June 30th, 2025. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve and sign the employment contract with Christine Lowe, County Appraiser. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to meet in executive session with Pat Walsh, County Council, from 9:20 a.m. until 9:50 a.m. to discuss a matter that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. All voted aye, motion carried. The Commissioners returned to regular session at 9:50 a.m. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. Glenn Tyson, Ryan Fine, Public Work Director, and Jeff Spencer Foreman met for their weekly meetings. Items discussed were computer at the shop, tire balancer, and request for an executive session. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve purchase order 3416 to McCoy's Electronics and computer repair in the amount of $549.99 for an Asus VivoBook laptop to be paid for from Road Bridge Fund. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to meet in executive session with Glenn Tyson, Ryan Fine, Public Works Director, Jeff Spencer, and Pat Walsh, County Council, from 9:40 a.m. until 9:55 a.m. to discuss a matter involving identifiable non-elected personnel to protect the products and rights of the individual. All voted aye, motion carried. The Commissioners returned to regular session at 5:55 a.m. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. Pat Walsh, County Council, discussed the request for a zoning variance for the general public transportation parking lot in Osage City. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to direct the chair to sign the request for zoning variance with the city of Osage City for the general public transportation parking lot. All voted aye, motion carried. Commissioner Cooter discussed having Amanda Coleman update the county website. Commissioner Bailey read the minutes of the January 3rd, 2022 meeting. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer to approve the minutes of the January 3rd, 2022 meeting as presented. All voted aye, motion carried. Caitlin Minor, Health Director, met to discuss purchase of the vaccine storage system, grant applications, and the article on the Essex County Herald article. Catherine Feynman was also present for the conversation. Tammy Fager, Senior Senator, Public Transportation Director, met to discuss vehicle repairs and request an executive session. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to meet in an executive session with Tammy Fager, Senior Senator, General Public Transportation Director, and Pat Walsh, County Council, from 10:49 a.m. until 10:59 a.m. to discuss a matter involving identifiable non-elected personnel to protect the privacy rights of the individual, all voted aye, motion carries. The commissioners returned to regular session at 10:59 a.m. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. The motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to approve the termination of Wendy Horniker, effective January 6, 2022, all voted aye, motion carries. Becky Barlow, Land Development Director, met for the FEMA public hearing that was held at 11 a.m. as published. No public was present for the public hearing. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to adopt resolution 22-04, the floodplain management resolution. All voted aye, motion carried. Chris Wells, Sheriff, met to discuss the request of executive session. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to meet in executive session with Chris Wells, Sheriff, and Pat Walsh, County Council, from 11:06 a.m. until 11:26 a.m. to discuss a matter involving identifiable non-elected personnel to protect the privacy rights of the individual. All voted aye, motion carried. The commissioners returned to the regular session at 11:26 a.m. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to approve the retirement of Renee Bannister, effective January 20th, 2022, and the retirement of Jerry Mitchell, effective March 1st, 2022. The job transfer of Paramount Sniper from full-time to non-career part-time effective January 1st, 2022. The salary increase of Felix Nunez from $18.97 per hour to $19.22 per hour effective January 1st, 2022, and the increase of Fort Hamilton from $19.47 to $19.72 effective January 1st, 2022. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to approve purchase order 3429 to 911 Customs to upfit the new sheriff's vehicles in the amount of $14,475.95 to be paid for the sheriff's line item of the general fund. All voted aye, motion carried. Man, you guys will need this day. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to approve the change orders as presented. All voted aye, motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to approve the job transfer of Angela Seacrest from office clerk to second deputy county treasurer, and approve the salary increase from $12.25 per hour to $14.16 per hour. Commissioners Bailey and Dyer voted aye. Commissioner Cooter voted no. Motion carried. Motion was made by Bailey, seconded by Dyer, to meet in executive session with Pat Walsh, County Council, and Dennis Spector, Human Resources Director, from 12:25 to 12:40 to discuss a matter involving identifiable non-elected personnel, the privacy rights of the individual. All voted aye, motion carried. The commissioners returned to regular session at 12:40 p.m. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. Commissioner Bailey discussed assigning commissioners to projects and made the following assignments: Commissioner Peter, Economic Development and Wind Farms; Commissioner Dyer, Waste Management; and Commissioner Bailey to Rock Course. Motion was made by Dyer to adjourn to meet in regular session on Tuesday, January 8, 2022. All voted aye, motion carried.
I see that that's where I apparently stuttered when I was typing second. And a space between 2 and 8, and I will correct those two minor things.
Better wait for Eric to come back.
Yeah, it's out of the office.
I don't think I've read that much since I read a book.
Yeah.
Most books are, I don't know that long.
And Dick and Jane was hard on him first grade.
I did not like January's kid now.
Sorry.
I always thought it said about.
I thought I was gonna coffee fit, I can feel it coming on. I was out of water.
Are you drinking ice all?
Yeah.
Are there any additions or corrections to the meeting minutes? If not, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say no. Motion carries. Pat, you got anything?
No, other than I will not be able to be present next Monday.
Okay. We'll send you a bill. Fred?
I did, like, Lexi has the papers from the banks to change over the names on the bank. So I need a signature from you, and then I need a signature from, Fred.
Okay.
Here, come on, it's on the road. We don't need a motion, right?
Well, I mean, it's just the names and the account, so I think you right there, and I have there, or vice versa, whichever you want to finalize, I need a
Friday,
The only thing you can do is just change the new people on the account.
Okay. I haven't got it, I'll just save you for last.
Yeah, just.
That everyone?
Yes.
Hold up, Friday. Situated back in. And now I know you got some things, so. It is.
So we did the CIC meeting, and getting all the names corrected is doable. The way that it's going to occur though is different than what I had thought, but basically everything is going to be given to us in an Excel spreadsheet. And how many were there? 70,000, but we can get it down to 40,000. There's gonna be about 40,000 entries that have to be corrected. And once we correct it, then they will take that document back, put it in the system, and that's gonna fix it all, and it's gonna change the first 4 characters that are used to pull the reports. So it will change it to pull my last name. However, once everyone else here is visiting, it's gonna be a lengthy process. So what we kind of recommended, which I thought would be fine upon approval with you guys, is that hiring 2 or 3 people, whether they're a couple retired people or a couple college students, and they come in here and just knock it out. It's basically data entry, and we think within, 2-3 weeks they can get it done. They would be part-time. We were thinking about like around $9.50 an hour. I did send information to Allen County Community College where they can post it, and I said, this is pending approval, but that person had already got back to me and said she had a couple of retired individuals in mind and possibly students. So if we don't hire someone, then each of the department heads, they'll have to work on it together, but it's going to be intermittently when they have time to do that. That's why we kind of thought it would be best if we just hired a couple people and knock it out. As soon as that's done and they put it in the system and change all the names, the next step was the addresses, right? And I don't remember the details on the addresses, but that's the second step.
Yeah, it wasn't requiring you to have entry from us, really.
Okay.
So where would we put these people to be able to do this work? Do they have a computer?
They'll need to come here, and
I have an open computer that they can sit at and use Excel, which is what it's in.
so the thought with the document that I think Lexi brought up was you could actually take the Excel document and break it into 2 or 3 pieces, and so you could have 2 or 3 people working on it all at the same time. They each have their own part
So
of the
you
deal.
need 3 other computers, so.
If they all work at the same
If they all work at the same time. So that was my question, was if you approved that, then she had an individual that's retired that was interested, and then I'm waiting to hear back from the college. But the sooner we get that done,
I would think we want to start.
the better, because as soon as that's done, that's gonna help him for us to print the report and start the tax sale, right?
And that's imperative that it gets fixed. It was such a nightmare last time.
So we need a motion for that? Or we just tell you?
Well, we just have to, I think, approve they were part-time temporary positions is the way I described it. And I had
Well, we
put
won't know the name, so we're just gonna approve.
the position.
And they said it would take about 2 weeks for them to get the document back to us to be ready. So we're probably looking at the first part of February before we're ready to start working.
Which will give us time to
Get somebody.
get somebody hired and figured out.
So I don't know if we need a motion, or we just need a payroll sheet when they are on.
Just the approval to go ahead and do it.
Approval to do it, and then it's just part-time.
I don't think we need to do it, because it's not gonna be enough.
Right.
And it could be a 2-year, 3-year process.
No, it's
I
gonna be
would
a
say
2 or 3 week.
I would say let's hire the people that we need out there, maybe one, 2, 3, whatever it is, and we're here. Do it, we need a motion, I'll make a motion, I'll make a motion, and we just need.
Well, within the next couple of weeks before we're ready to actually start, we'll probably have meetings. And then we can just bring down the sheets and we could have one without one.
But here would be my question, because these are gonna be temporary jobs,
Temporary part-time.
but are they really part-time or are they full-time?
Well, it depends on the individuals and how many hours they want to work. So like if college students, we assume they would be working around a college schedule, so that would only be part-time. Another person chief out of is a retired individual, probably isn't gonna want to work 8 hours a day for whatever, so.
On the pay, should we, the pay rate, are we gonna be, because what's our rate to pay a starting employee?
1175, isn't it? We make sure it's a change, right?
I mean, you can have part-time temporary, though, they can work 40 hours and still be part-time.
Right. So we did a part-time temporary, but I would think you'd want, what do you think it's gonna take this away?
I don't know. The person that I talked to is somebody that was in my office and what they did was real estate. That's why they could be good at it and I really didn't talk dollar amounts.
I mean, as important as it is, I would have to watch.
Yeah.
Sure, we get who we need to get it done right, so we don't have to get the.
You want to make sure that, so.
Because there's gonna be a lot of like looking at it, like, let's just say the first one might be Albert Smith, okay? Well, we know that needs to be Smith Albert, but the next one may be ABC Consulting or whatever. I mean, you're gonna have to know what's a company, I mean, there's gonna have to be a little bit of common sense probably.
So on the wages, I would say play it by ear and see what you do.
Yeah, right, see what it is.
And also, I've used community service through colleges. They have to have so many hours. Sometimes high schools like the community service too.
So if we get that done, we could possibly have this done by the end of February.
If we can get it back from them and get somebody in here to.
Okay. So I would say we give you the right to go ahead and hire as many as you need.
We had some follow-up questions for Scott, and we've talked to him since then, just because things came up to us after the fact. We want to make sure.
Scott from
CIC, we want to make sure when we're working on this document and we're doing our day-to-day work, that we're not messing anything up. We just want to make sure we work on a whole in our daily work, we had a few specific questions, and we've talked.
I think all he said was, don't edit any current people.
Right.
If you're adding a new person, do the correct procedure, put in their last
We
name.
just want to make sure that we were on the same page.
So what you're doing going forward right now, you can put it in whatever you want.
So he said if you create a new person, you're putting your last name in first and then the first name in, and he talked to them about like they have a trust or something.
Okay.
But he said if there's current people in the system, don't go in and edit them, just leave them
Right.
alone, because this Excel document will get imported into CIC and correct all the previous people. So, at least that's the way I understood it.
And so we just asked specific questions.
So, yes, that's where we're at.
With our blessings.
Okay. The second thing I forwarded those audit proposals, so we have 3 now for auditing services, and I didn't know we wanted to put this on the agenda to discuss what we want to do with them. But I forwarded these 2 once I finally got them in.
I think I got those on my phone, I did not print them off. You want to get some copies of this?
I went and read through them, but I didn't.
Is it, I don't know, I don't even have because that's more detailed than what we have for the other one.
Well, this is Scott's that, Ron had sent this a couple weeks ago, and then this is a firm out of Ottawa, and this is a firm out of Topeka. And it's just it's a proposal, like Scott presented.
Okay, so can we get copies of those two, and let's put it on the agenda for, what's next week's meeting look like?
You have time. I can assign a time and let you know.
And then the last one is,
Schedule time, you know, put it on.
so today with the bills that we approved, we finished up the encumbered.
Well,
Not all of them.
We haven't approved these yet.
Okay, well, with this, when we approve them, some of it is last year, and then some of it is the first year that goes towards the new budget. So I'm a little uncomfortable with moving forward with some of this because we don't have a budget yet for 2022. So my question is when are we going to do this? We have to finalize the numbers.
As soon as somebody tells me the reimbursements. I mean, I don't, this I have to do before I do this. This I have to know what I'm putting in. If I don't have reimbursement amounts, I can't do this. Not to do it correctly.
So should we set whether we want to do it today or set a different day this week and just knock this out because we've got to finalize the numbers? And we are the ones that do that. Nobody else does that. I mean, we are the ones that have to pick the numbers. But, so when we have this.
But what you're, the numbers are finalized. What you're asking for is what you want on the sheet, and this is not, the sheet's not gonna be right.
This is the new one you just sent us. Isn't this the new one?
Nice, I brought down a new one
Yeah.
that just came in today.
I have not looked at
But
this.
it's not gonna reflect, it's not gonna reflect any reimbursements. This is a sheet that is not going through CIC or anybody else. So it's not gonna show exact numbers. I mean, I understand the philosophy behind it, but
Well, we don't have
It's
a
not gonna
budget to
work.
give to the departments to tell them what they can spend. And so when we print out that month end that has the month to date that shows how much left is on their budget,
it's never gonna be right. We've already decided that. That's why you gotta do this sheet.
well, that's what I'm saying, is that we need to
Which sheet do
set,
you want?
we have to finalize this. This is the budget that was
Then
proposed.
throw this sheet in the trash because it means nothing.
Well, this is
This
what,
one means nothing
this
because
is
it
what-
has nothing to do with it.
this is what Scott finished that you had asked, right? After the meeting, you had talked to Scott, and then Scott sent this today. I haven't looked over this. I'm not
This won't be reflected upon the budget sheet. Because this does not have reimbursements in it. So this number is never, this is not ever gonna be right until those reimbursements are.
Yeah, I haven't read this yet. I don't know what all has in it. But
I mean, we can use this as a starting number because it's
Right.
basically taking the average of all these years and he's got the final budget amount in there.
Right.
But it's still not gonna be exactly correct because it does not have the reimbursements amount. There's no way you can put those in there unless you know what they are ahead of time.
But we've not finalized what is actually available to each department. And so I think we can take this data, work through it, and then whatever we feel like, if you needed more information on it, then we can add that in, but we don't have anything to give the departments that says what there's allowable is yet. We've not finished the budget for 2022.
So you don't believe they know how much money they have in their budget?
Well, because we didn't finish it. We didn't finalize that. There's the,
So how do you plan on coming up with that money?
well, from the things that you asked that we get from Scott over the last few weeks, we have the last 3-year average. We have the actual final spending for 2021. And then it looks like he might have put in here some comparisons. I haven't looked at this current one. And then the personnel services, we already talked about that we got that a couple weeks ago from Melinda. But the other line items, we're just gonna have to go through and determine what do we want to allow in each of those line items.
He's got it in there.
So that's what I'm just asking, do we want to set aside a time today and go through each of these departments and finalize the number? Because we haven't done that yet.
The number's in there right now. They can use that number. Because those are literal numbers that we put in there. But again, these numbers are not correct. And they're not ever gonna be until we know the reimbursement. I mean, he's doing the best he can because what we want is not, you cannot have what you want. Because you don't know what the reimbursements are ahead of time. It'd be great if we could, but I don't think we know those numbers.
I think we should go through this together and work through everything that he has on here and then decide if that's what we want. And finalize, because I don't think we did that. Correct, we never finalized the numbers.
No. We, the person, if you want to use the ones on the side to plug in for the budget, then we'll do that. You just need something to plug into the system, which.
That's my question, if we want to do that today, like if we finish, I don't know if we want to take a break and then come back, but I think we should go through, this is the budget that the
The
2020.
problem is, Heather, you want something that I don't think is possible. I'm not gonna waste my time doing a budget that doesn't make sense just because you want it a different way. This is not the budget. This is a deal where you can track everything, and it does not have reimbursements in it. That's why what you're wanting is not gonna happen until we know the reimbursement is. You can't make it work that way. I mean, it would be great if you could, but if you can tell me the amount of reimbursement, then yeah, I got no problem sitting there and going through each of this. Otherwise, we're beating our head against the wall for no reason.
So this is the 2022 budget that was proposed. And this line here, this is what he needed us to finalize, and that's what we haven't done. He plugged numbers in, but it wasn't from, he copy and pasted a lot of it. So this is what we
Let's
have to
stop one more
finalize.
time. If I give you $100 and I tell you that's your money, but I reimburse you 50, now you got $150. So how are you gonna tell me what that budget number is?
We have to.
You're
decide.
asking for something that is not humanly possible in front of you right now. I don't know where you're coming up with all these different sheets, but I'm telling you, they aren't gonna work until you know the reimbursement numbers.
This is
We
from
can do a
Scott.
budget, but that's not gonna be your exact number because you don't have the reimbursements, and there are a ton of reimbursements that come from this county, including up to wages in the motor vehicle department, the officers that we have in the schools, the contracts of the cities, all that changes. We haven't even talked about it at all because you're always on overtime. I've actually talked to Shirley about this a bit, but there's a lot of overtime that's not being paid by the county. It's being paid by the Department of Revenue because the highway patrol pays for it. That doesn't show up in there, and those don't show up in any of our documents that we're getting, wherever these documents are coming from, shows all this overtime pay and everything else. That doesn't show who's paying it. It says it's there, but it's not getting paid by the county. The highway patrol is sending money for that because that's part of the grant. That's where the numbers, if you don't use real numbers, the budget doesn't work.
We don't have a budget. These numbers here that Scott put in here, they're proposed. That is what he told us we have to go back and.
All right, so my question would be this, is I'm not gonna sit and argue with you on this. Have Scott over here next week and we'll finalize the numbers. Have him here at 9 a.m. and put everything else off, and that's all we'll do. But I'm telling you right now, if he can't do this the way we do it now, then you're gonna go to him and have your sheet made up for however you want, but we're gonna set a budget based on how it works for everybody in the county except you. You can have your sheet however you need it, but I can't spend 4 or 5 hours a day trying to figure out what you want. That's not possible.
We don't have to spend 4 or 5 hours a day, but one of our primary functions is that.
We have
set
spent
budget.
probably 40 hours on something, Heather, that makes 0 sense because you're asking for something that you can't get an answer to.
I'm just
Tell me how much
asking-
your reimbursement is. That's all I want.
I'm saying,
How
in
much is
addition
it?
to that, we have to just go through each of these lines and decide what do we want to give for contractual services for county commission or contractual services for the county clerk. and
Leave them
compliance.
what they've been.
So-
That's easy enough. We'll figure it out as we go. But until we know the reimbursements amount, it doesn't make sense. You cannot do this budget the way you want it done because you do not have the reimbursement amounts. It will not ever balance.
The other thing Scott told me is that Scott cannot set the numbers.
No, he cannot.
He said that because he's the auditor, then that would be management service, and he said, I can't set the numbers, so he said, I put numbers in there. You as the commission have to decide what you want in each.
I can't set I can set the numbers, but I ain't gonna set them what you want because you can't do it because you're not gonna have the reimbursement numbers. These, if you want to set the numbers, set what we had last year. Those would be the numbers. Until we know the reimbursement amounts, you cannot make a number that doesn't make sense.
So you want us to have the exact same budget as last year, so the spending authority for 2021 is,
That's not what I said, but until I have the reimbursement amounts, I'm not gonna make something up that I don't know what that is.
we wouldn't be making it up.
Well, what the hell are we doing? Where are you coming up with numbers if you don't know the reimbursement?
So,
I'll take one for example here. Let's just go to, I'll just pick one up. Let's go to, the county treasurer's office. If we got a budget of $240,000, or $225 in their office. However, we know that we're gonna get a reimbursement of $104,000. How the hell do I set a budget? Because it's $104,000 off. And I know that already, but if I look at this, it doesn't show that. But I know that for a fact.
we decide how much money each department is given to spend. The reimbursement is a tracking tool and it's very important, and it does have to be allotted to each department, which is something we've been doing. But we still have to choose how much they are given to spend. And that's what we didn't finish. That's the part that Scott said we never finished.
I can go right here, and here's adopted budget, and it shows it in the yellow column, the adopted budget, then it shows the final budget for 22. So I don't know where the numbers got that we haven't put the numbers in. Maybe they're not the numbers you want, but the numbers are in there. Or maybe you haven't looked at this document yet.
This is brand new. So
Wait, has the adopted and the final, so let's just wait till next week, and if we need more discussion on it, we can talk about it then. Now, I got this, I don't know if maybe we need to figure this out, because Rhonda, any information that we have, and we know we're gonna have a meeting on Monday, would you please get the information out, like stuff like this on Tuesday or Wednesday?
I got that from Scott,
He just sent this.
literally at,
Okay.
well, I got it
looked at
yesterday,
I looked at it whenever he sent me something in an email, so I'd already looked
So
at
that
it.
was my initial question was, now that this has came in, do we want to work on it today or set a different day this week and come back and just give ourselves whatever time we need and just literally go through each line item and then make the decisions? That was my question, was what do we want to do with this, because this is new information. But we do have to finalize this, because we can't approve any more spending for the 2022 year because we don't have a budget.
Well, I'll show you how this is gonna work. I will make a motion that we pay the bills in an amount of $390,007.99.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. What's today?
18th.
We don't have a choice but to pay the bills.
We don't have a choice but to set a budget.
Did
and
you
that's what we
vote
did.
yes or no?
I voted no.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
I didn't either,
I'm
that's
gonna
why I
vote
asked.
no, because we do not have a 2022 budget.
So I would tell you that as a county commissioner, if you want to bring, and I don't mean to do this way, but I don't have a choice because you beat my head against the wall. But if you want this information, then be prepared when you come to the meeting. This shows adopted budget, final budget. I'm not discussing this anymore until you get your stuff in order. You talk to Scott Howard, we'll talk about it next week. As far as I'm concerned, this is off the table for now, because I'm not going to beat this up over something I have no information on.
I've called and talked to Scott several times because he's asked me to. He has sent me documents, I've worked on them. I have the 2022 budget here, and if you were to go through it, I have tons of notes on every page.
Ron, would you put him on the
I've
meeting for
worked on
next
it
week?
multiple times, but I'm one person. There are 3 of us on this board, and we together have to set the budget, and we didn't finish that.
Did you
That's
sign
what
that?
Scott told me.
Ron? So we get the bills paid? Anything else?
No.
You wanna make your,
Well,
We're going to the purple waiver on those vehicles. We want to put the generator from the jail on.
Who's that?
In the backside of the jail. There's a 40 kW generator in there.
We could put it on there and then we'll also have the other one we need to get from Tills.
Well, yeah, so we got, I don't know, might ask Ryan if they got road and bridge has anything in it.
Yeah.
We might wait on that one back. Let's just do the vehicles first.
Yeah, because that's.
Purple wave, it's easy to get down here to do it. So,
There's one thing. I got this last night at 9:37 p.m.
So then we're not prepared to have this discussion.
So I'm just telling you that when you say I'm not prepared for a meeting,
We'll have this
I
discussion.
think you know better than that.
No, what I said is you can't wait till 8 o'clock on Monday morning to ask for documentation from the clerk's office. If you want that information, we have an agenda that's usually printed on Friday afternoon. Ask for it. Then it gives you all we can look at. I don't care. I mean,
My question was, when do you want to
I
discuss
just
it?
said we're gonna discuss it next
So
week.
you accuse me of not being prepared for a meeting, and that is untrue.
You're never prepared, a lot of times you're not prepared, unless it's something that you want to argue about, or you want to disintegrate, or you want to take an apartment and tell them how to run it. You got to put micromanaging and become a commissioner, which means you look out for the best interests of the county. I'm not going to sit here and continue this conversation.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
I would second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say no.